All right. Looks like it's working, as far as I can tell. If not, oh well. Don't really care. We will get started here in just 1 minute.
Balls.
I can hear you.
It's not a cuss either.
We are doing true crime this evening with the docile. It is true crime.
There's some other shit mixed in there.
It is true crime with the docile tones of Travis.
I did get a compliment on my voice that one when we did the Delphi murders. I think we should look into that. We should do like stories, just for like throw in YouTube videos.
We could do whatever you want.
I think we could both do that. And like I said, I found that website where you can like record samples of yourself and like put it out there so people that are looking for somebody to read their audiobook.
Oh, voiceover work?
Yeah.
I would not be good. I can barely talk, and then trying to read,
See,
I'm even more screwed.
I think I'd be really good at voiceover work.
Pre-stroke, maybe I could have pulled it off. Post-stroke, not so much.
I'd be out there like Ron Burgundy. Tip of the tongue, teeth in the lips. She sells seashells by the seashore. You know, all that jazz.
All that happy stuff. I like it.
Now that's there. Wet the whistle.
Whenever you're ready, we can start this clusterfuck of a show.
This podcast is not brought to you by Coca-Cola Cherry Zero.
Or Skyline Chili.
Or Turtle Beach headphones. Fine, if you're going to wear your headphones, I'm going to wear my headphones. I like to feel cool too.
I want to be cool. We're wearing the cans today.
Mine are not nearly as cool. I can't hear shit in mine.
Don't you got a volume button? Because I only got one volume button on this.
I don't know. I've got like fucking... This thing's got so many fucking...
I can hear you fine.
Can you? Well, but I don't know. The fuck is going on here? I don't know. Maybe I was hearing stuff, but now I'm not. It's weird.
Are you plugged in?
I should be, unless something terrible happens. Yeah, I mean, I'm plugged in.
Hold on, let me.
That's weird. Oh wait, it started to come. See, now it's there. It's just very faint.
Well, see, mine is super fucking loud.
Mine's not at all.
You could probably hear mine.
See, mine's much better now.
You can probably hear my headphones through the microphone. That's how fucking loud mine is.
Yeah, yours are loud as fuck. I mean, I'm not wearing mine the whole time anyway, so it doesn't matter. Maybe it's only picking up you. That is weird though. Like mine's very. Talk again.
Hello?
See, I can hear you, but maybe I just can't hear myself over myself. Maybe that's what it is.
That's probably what it is.
We're not used to wearing the cans, as they say. Oh my god, there's so many fucking pop-ups. Fuck you.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on...
Oh, you son of a bitch. Where are we going? I'm going to read from there. Yeah, all right. Well, I don't know if anybody's coming into this thing or not.
Does it really matter?
No, not really.
All right. If you want...
I don't know why I'm wearing these right now. Should I just start it?
Go ahead. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the GITM podcast, where we cover the true crime, the paranormal, and just general silliness.
Stuff.
Travis is doing an true crime episode tonight. Travis, you want to tell them what we're doing before we...
Douchebag Cooper.
That would be D-Bag.
D-Bag Cooper.
All right, I like it.
Sounds like a shitty wrestler.
A oldie but a goodie.
A classic.
A classic, if you will. So, that is what we're covering. But as always, we will shoot the shit a little bit before we get started.
See if anybody wants to actually watch this. Probably not.
If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, be sure to head on over to youtube.com, and the link should be in the show notes, so you could watch us live. We record these live on our YouTube channel.
Anybody who may be here, thanks for tuning in.
Say hi in the chat.
Love you.
Don't forget.
Yeah, we try to interact with the chat as much as possible. I say that as if it's difficult to keep up with the chat.
Sometimes it can be.
Yeah, when we get a whopping 12 people in here and
They're all
1/3 of them are actually conversing.
I mean, and sometimes, let's be honest, the chat is more, what the side topics in the chat are more interesting than what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. They are very much inducing of sidebars.
Yes.
And then there was the Delphi murders one. The chat knew more than fucking we did.
Well, that was not too hard considering I knew nothing about it.
Well, I had heard about it, and I looked into it a little bit, and the next thing you know, I'm like, holy shit, there's 19,000 little vidocs and shit about it.
Yeah. So
I was like, I don't have time for that. And I don't know how to read, so I can't read any books about it.
Have you checked the stream to make sure we are, since we were playing with the stream to make sure we... Yeah,
yep.
Okay.
We got audio.
YouTube is getting audio, so...
We have audio.
That is a plus.
Anything new? Anything exciting that happened this week?
No, nothing.
No? Nothing at all?
Not none.
Nothing? That's an interesting way to say it.
No, I mean, it's just boring weekend for me.
Yeah.
Didn't do really much.
I didn't either. Mostly work.
Yeah, so, I mean...
You did get incidentally referred to as my dad.
Yes, I did. I tell that motherfucker fuck off next time you see him.
By a guy at the gym.
Which, by technically I could be. I am of that age.
You're what, almost 20 years older than me?
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It could happen.
It could have happened. But I'm not of Asian descent, so I'm pretty sure that you're not mine.
Oh,
And I don't think I've ever been with an Asian. There were some drunken nights in college, maybe, but I can't 100% guarantee that.
I mean, it was a good moment for me, though. My hard work got noticed by a random stranger at the gym.
Your hard work got noticed, and my elderliness got noticed. So
he said, I remember when you started coming in here, you're a big guy. I was like, first off, like I said, I was taken aback by his accent. I didn't expect that man to have as heavy of an accent as he did.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't crazy. He clearly spoke good English.
Right.
But just looking at him, I was like, oh, yeah, you're ancestrally Hispanic. But
fresh.
But yeah, no, he's Hispanic. Nice guy. Bonesed it up with me a couple times.
You gotta like it. Like it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta take it where you can get it. Compliments are few and far between in our world.
Especially when you get to be my age. Just insults.
Yeah. I mean, that's both of us, though.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else fun happen?
No more assassination attempts on Trump.
No.
Politics sucks balls.
Yeah, Texas lost.
Yes, Texas lost.
And somehow dropped to 5th.
Yes, Alabama lost and got embarrassed.
But I'm pretty sure Bama, or who is it? I think Ohio State's ranked above Texas. How? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. That was not a great loss.
What, Texas?
Yeah, the loss of Georgia isn't what it once was. This year, anyway. But
I think we earned a higher spot than Ohio State up to this point in the season.
Ohio State's undefeated, correct?
No.
Who'd they lose to? Oh, they lost last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're not undefeated either.
Right. Yeah. But
Oregon's number 1.
Yeah, but let's be honest, the Oregon loss.
Well, and then
Oregon loss is a better loss than Georgia.
Well, Oregon's number 1. They're
that's
undefeated.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Them losing to Oregon is a much better loss than losing.
Well,
to
and then
Georgia.
I think Penn State's number 3. I think there's a 5-1 or a 6-1 team at 2, and then Penn State's number 3 undefeated.
I don't see a fucking problem with that.
I don't even know who it is. I'm trying to think.
I don't know.
Might be Georgia.
See, Georgia's not as strong as they want to. I mean, their loss to Alabama looks even worse now.
Yeah.
So it's
Because that's the other thing is they lost to Alabama, but Texas beat Alabama. So how the fuck are they going to be ranked higher than us?
And it doesn't really matter. As long as they're in the top 12, who gives a rat's ass?
I mean, yeah, because like other than there's only a couple teams that I don't think Texas would handle in the playoffs.
So,
Like, no offense to all the people that live around us and everything like that, but I'm pretty sure that they'll make it through Ohio State if they had to. Oregon's kind of a powerhouse.
kind of, yeah.
Penn State, I don't know who Penn State's played.
Probably nobody other than their Big Ten schedule. I mean, they haven't played probably any of the big boys yet.
I was saying because,
Believe it or not, this is not a sports podcast.
well, because I think Texas still has Arkansas, which not a powerhouse team, but not a fucking like steamroll team either,
Always a tough out.
and a rivalry. See, that's the other thing. I feel like rivalry games should hold more weight. I was putting on Instagram while we wait to see if anybody shows up.
Nobody's coming.
Nobody.
At least they're not going to talk.
No, they never do.
So,
But yeah. I think that's about it.
that's about it.
There's nothing crazy in politics.
Only 50 some odd more days of this bullshit.
Everybody's hating on fucking Bert Kreischer now.
He kind of is a hateable guy. I will say that.
The more I look into it, yeah.
I mean, I like him. I think he's funny. But, you know.
He's not on my like Rushmore by any means though. Like,
But he's adequate.
he'll give you a chuckle.
I mean, I will watch his specials. I think he's a funny guy, but he is of the group.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding it up.
Did you see?
He's in the basement of that group per se.
Yeah. Did you see? Well, and then apparently people are still going on Brendan Schaub. I don't know why. I'm not trying to hate on him or anything, but like he's never been my favorite comedian by any means, and like as far as I know, he's not like massively relevant anymore in comedy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sure he still does. I mean, just as much as it probably. Well, see, here's the thing about comedy now. Back in the day,
When it was edgy and fun.
well, you had maybe 5-6 guys
Yeah.
that toured bigger theaters.
Yeah, like Eddie Murphy, Dice,
Right.
Kennison.
And then maybe one of those would do arena. Was big enough to do arenas.
Eddie Murphy. And then after Eddie Murphy, what? Like Martin Lawrence is probably the one
Dice,
that took.
Dice did.
Well, I'm saying like Martin Lawrence probably took the torch from Eddie Murphy. Or, well, no, probably the original. Well, I don't know. The Kings of Comedy / Martin Lawrence.
Right. But there was under 10 guys that were headlining theaters, probably, and give or take a little bit.
Yeah.
Everybody else was just a touring comedian.
Yeah.
You know, was doing the comedy, clubs.
And now you got fucking
Even
Kill
touring.
Tony doing live shit in stadiums and shit.
To
Which
where-
is cool. I like Kill Tony, but like that's a weird platform to have in like Madison Square Garden and shit. Which they did the Garden, didn't
Right.
they? Like
I think
twice,
so.
2 nights.
Yeah. But now you have so many talented comedians with social media because people are just exploding.
Mm-hmm.
You have so many people doing theaters and even doing arenas. Yeah. And that was always the downfall of Brendan, whatever, Schaub. He tried too quick. He was elevated way too quick. It takes 10, 15 years in the clubs developing the craft. Then,
Oh, yeah. Fuck, what else was I going to bring up? I had a thought after we started talking about that.
Right.
Fuck, what was it? Oh, well, did you see fucking... I'm just waiting for Brock Lesnar to take shots at him.
At who?
Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub.
Why?
They were kind of went after his daughter a little bit.
What about?
Talking about how, like, shot put's kind of a stupid sport and... like it's not gonna get you anywhere and shit like that. And they're like, what? And Brendan Schaub's like, get that bitch to wrestle. And I'm like, she's like a 19-year-old girl that just set the Colorado state record for shot put. Leave her alone.
Yeah, I mean,
Just because she kind of looks like her dad, it's not her fault. Like a lot, but that's not her fault. She's a hell of an athlete. Fuck off.
I mean, it's
She's doing better in the state that you played college sports in.
true.
But that's neither here nor there. Oh. What I was going to bring up, did you see the Flint Dibble Graham Hancock thing has made the rounds again?
I saw, wasn't he on Danny Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I was going to watch it.
Well, and then Graham Hancock was just on Joe Rogan again.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
And they kind of went, well, because Ancient Apocalypse just premiered again, the second season.
So it was probably today or yesterday.
It was the 14th. So
14th?
last week.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't see that update.
Yeah. So they were going in on it because I guess apparently Keanu Reeves is in like 3 episodes, I think I saw.
Really?
Or something like that. Yeah. And then like they were going at, like they started talking about how Flint Dibble was like twisting the truth to fit his archaeological background.
Right.
Talking about like how they got into the argument about shipwrecks and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we know the oldest shipwreck and there is no ship. We just know that it's a shipwreck. So of course you wouldn't be able to find organic material by this point. And his whole thing was like, and he's like, you would be able to. He's like, but it's hard to tell. He was like, he was like, first off, we don't think they made ships that early. And it's hard to tell. It's hard to make the difference or tell the difference between a dugout canoe or like a raft that is lashed together of different logs underwater after 10,000 years or however fucking long you want to say it was there.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, because he has already clapped back through another podcast.
Who?
Flint Dibble.
Fuck Flint Dibble. Flint Dibble can
See, and that's
suck
the
my
thing
left
is like
testicle.
I like Flint Dibble.
I don't.
Like I don't agree with everything that he says, but like at least I liked the way that they interacted on Joe Rogan. They had opposing points of view, but they were never like at each other's throats. And I can appreciate that because he even said when he was on Danny Jones, I listened to the Danny Jones podcast. Everybody knows I listen to Danny Jones, so yeah, I listened to the Flint Dibble one. And he said multiple times, yeah, I don't give a fuck that people think other things. I want other people to think other things. Just don't fucking get mad at me when I rebut with what I know or feel to be the facts that I've seen.
Well, see, and this is the problem with all of academia. They present things as fact.
No matter what.
No matter what.
If it's in their books, it's fact.
But history, just like science, is ever changing.
Yeah.
As well as should be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here lately, in the past 4 years, a little touchy. But even what we know about history changes.
Yeah.
And they are so harsh when it comes to adapting a new way of thinking of what's outside what they already believe.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
They are so unwelcoming to people like Graham Hancock who are thinking outside the box and just posing the question.
Well,
because if you tell me you're looking at a piece of pottery and tell me that prehistoric man got laid on Tuesday, he had a 12-inch penis, fuck you. You can't tell. I don't give a fuck. You can make an educated guess.
right. Like he had a Chick-fil-A sandwich for lunch.
Right. And granted, Flint Dibble's educated guess is much more respectable and probably accurate than mine.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Not mine.
I'm open-minded enough to know I have my own thoughts about things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm open-minded about it. Okay, but I realize I could be wrong. And I've never been that type of person who is, if I think it's, you can change my mind.
Right. It's not like 2 + 2 = 4. Like,
I mean,
yeah, stuff like that is
You will
concrete.
never tell me 2 + 2 = 5. I don't give a fuck what they
yeah,
say.
the shit like that, yeah, there are things that are concrete, but I don't think that the history of the fucking planet is concrete.
Right. Especially when we're digging up the past. And we are making educated guesses on relics that we don't really 100% know what they were used for.
Oh, especially like you watched Ancient Apocalypse, didn't you?
When it first came out,
Like just that site in what was it, Indonesia or Malaysia,
Mm-hmm.
the like stack pyramid on like the first episode, like that shit with like what they said was like volcanic basalt pillars and shit like that, and then they started doing the underground radar, and they're like, well, we thought that 11,000 or whatever the fuck years ago was the earliest human interaction or human interference with this land. But then we went down this much further. And I'm like, yeah, what's fucking wrong with that?
Well, I mean, the Great Pyramid, pyramids of Giza, perfect example. We don't know what they were for.
Nah.
Now, if people want to tell me they were a fucking tomb, go fuck yourself. Was there a body? Did they ever find a body?
There's absolutely like
there is no mummified remains in
part of the purpose may have been entombment.
But
I'll give you that part of it. But there's no fucking way that they're doing. But at the same time, I mean, they did that shit with fucking in China with the terracotta army. You saw that shit, haven't you?
Yeah,
They buried like tens of thousands of terracotta warriors with one of the whatever the fuck they called them back then.
Emperors or
Yeah.
empress or whatever.
But like, You know, I mean, but just like that. Fucking, we don't know the history of that exactly, but Jet Li taught us that they all came back to life when you got the right talisman and shit.
But my point is that if there was never a body, a mummified remains found in the Great Pyramid, that is a big stretch saying it was for burial.
Yeah, and I mean, there's the whole, like, it got ransacked and shit like that, which 100% believable as well. Like, that's a factual thing.
But when you have the Valley of the Kings, where everybody's fucking buried, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. And just the sheer size and the grandeur of the Great Pyramids, just to put a fucking dead dude in it.
And if you do build that, if they built that as a tomb and didn't use it as a tomb, that is the worst case of you fucked around and found out.
Yeah.
You know, what the fuck?
Like, how much did you suck in your normal life that you needed a fucking tomb like that?
Well, I'm saying, I'm pretty sure they've proven now they were not slaves that built the pyramids. They were actually workers who had a community, and they were paid. And
they posit that it was like a way of taxation, a form of taxation was working through that.
The pharaoh goes up to, listen, guys, you did a great job building my tomb, but you know what? I've changed my mind.
I want to go somewhere else.
I think I'm going to go over here. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for your effort.
Do I necessarily believe that they're fucking batteries or wireless electrical stations,
power generators?
Yeah,
who fucking knows?
Or chemical production facilities?
Who fucking knows?
I don't know, because he brought that up because like Danny Jones just semi-recently had that guy that posits that the Great Pyramid was a chemical production facility,
right?
And Flintible's like, because that one does seem a bit far-fetched. But at the same time, like there are
chemical remains on the ceilings.
Well, and there's one that
could be from the battery or the electricity storage too, I believe.
Well, and then there's one of the pyramids or one of the rooms in the pyramids just like reeks of ammonia.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's probably fucking like jackal piss, first off, or just homeless people piss.
Or bat guano.
Guano, yeah. I don't know if they have bats in that desert.
Know.
They probably do. I don't fucking know. I'm not a zoologist.
Dracula's everywhere.
But and then like there's the fucking little copper wires, quote unquote, that are in the coming out of the ceiling of one of the chambers of the Great Pyramids. That the guy was like, it was basically wiring to like once whatever was filling that chamber hit that point, it would then trigger a mechanism to no longer fill that cavernous area. Like, I don't know. A lot of it's fucking far-fetched. I think we should all just throw our fucking hats into the ring of like, we don't fucking know.
Right.
And that's okay. We might not ever fucking know.
And I think, here's the thing. I think that philosophy or that concept or that idea is almost just as fucking plausible as
any of it is. Like if you just look at the scope of what we're dealing with, nothing's off the table.
Whatever it is an astonishing achievement in archaeology.
Let's just leave it at that.
Architecture and just building in general.
Let's just leave it at that, and everybody can be like, "Cool idea. Here's my idea," and nobody's like, "Fuck you, you're wrong, asshole."
Because whatever you want to believe, we would have a difficult time building the pyramids with those size stones.
Yeah.
Even today with our big earth moving equipment to moving the stones and cutting them that precise and moving that large of a stone.
We gotta figure out this choppy video. Go ahead.
That far is it's an astonishing achievement.
Or to source some of the stones from elsewhere.
Yeah, 100 miles away, I believe, somewhere. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure somebody will say something.
The only one person that I can honestly have an opinion on in this really is Zahi Hawass. I do think Zahi Hawass is a fucking pussy. I'm not saying he's dumb or he's wrong or his science doesn't science or anything like that, but he's so fucking stuck and he's fucking scared to sit down and have a conversation with somebody that has an opposing view of him.
He is the perfect example of what's wrong with academia. He is so set in his ways.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, it feels like he feels if it isn't the way he said it, he's wrong. No, you made a guess with what information we have. Now maybe we have some more information.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what makes your fucking hypothesis the word of God? Nothing.
Right.
None of us were fucking. You weren't standing there 7,000 years ago. Whenever the fuck they started building this goddamn thing.
And plus, we know the Sphinx is much older than the pyramids.
Yeah, and it's been resurfaced.
Right, and that the head probably was added later, or that particular head was added later.
Man, this news site just loves just pop-ups. It keeps catching my eye. All right, well,
let's get this.
Yeah, so I don't know. I saw the Flint Dibble thing. I haven't listened to the new Graham Hancock episode, but I did start listening to him on Lex Friedman, but I gave up on it just because, like, we all know I like Graham Hancock. I find him entertaining, but I don't. That's the first time I've seen him on Lex Friedman. Therefore, it's just kind of a regurgitation of all the shit that I've already heard. Now, I will probably go listen to the new Joe Rogan one, because then he's going to be like, Flint Dibble is a fucking cunt. I can't stand him with his stupid hat. I will say the last 2 times I saw Flint Dibble, he was much, much more well-dressed.
But he was still wearing the hat, wasn't he?
I think in one of them. In one, I understood. I saw one video where I was like, I get why you wear the hat.
I'm pretty sure in Danny Jones' video he's wearing the hat, isn't he?
His, I believe so. His hairline is not high quality.
I mean, just pick another hat. If I came across him in the street, one of 2 things are going to happen. I'm going to knock that silly hat, Indiana Jones wannabe motherfucker, stereotypical hat off his head, or throat punch him, one of the 2.
Especially because I'm like, dude, like, you do this, like, you give speeches and, like, teach people and shit like that. Like, why the fuck am I a bum-ass podcaster that works in the restaurant industry, and I have a fucking tailored suit that I can throw on if I have to go to a fucking function or a funeral or something like that. You have a suit that fits you properly.
I don't know if I have 2. One probably
okay, but the
sleeves,
but you don't look like a 12-year-old standing on top of another 12-year-old trying to buy a case of beer in the Little Rascals.
Right.
Which is exactly what he looked like. Again, I enjoy him. I'm not trying to shit on you, but dress better.
I'm going to disagree. I don't enjoy him because he's so narrow-minded, or so not open-minded.
I want to see what he has to say about things outside of his level of expertise. I feel like that's where you would find the endearing qualities of that person, because he admits that he at least used to smoke a lot of weed. He said he had, like, medical issues. I was like, cool, that's fine, like, whatever. Graham Hancock, maybe that's what they did. Maybe Graham Hancock and him and Joe Rogan just smoked a joint after the podcast, and everybody was like, high five. And then after it wore off, he was like, I can't fucking believe that little twerp gave me such gossip. How dare he come on Joe Rogan podcast, which is basically essentially my fucking podcast at this point, and come at me like a twat. I shall destroy him. Butler, bring me my chariot. I shall return back to the UK, and I shall smoke marijuana out of a wooden hand-carved pipe while I talk to my black wife about things of further ingenuity and intelligence than Flint Dibble could ever fucking imagine. Joe, pass the fucking joint. You're bogarting. Anyway, so before we get into the topic, though, I do have this very interesting. You see the picture of this gentleman. I'm going to start with a little rundown of this whole situation. All right, the fact that you haven't seen this blows me away because it's in Ohio.
Oh fuck!
So, this is coming from Channel 10 WBNS News in Columbus. The Columbus Division of Police officers were called to a Roosters near Hilliard around 3 a.m. on July 9th. This was a while ago, after being notified of a burglary alarm going off. They discovered that the restaurant was broken into. They got video evidence showing a man with long hair wearing a leopard print pajama, like a onesie, inside the restaurant. And about 100 yards away, the officers found that the Petland store was also broken into, and several animals were seen running around the parking lot.
Nice.
I think you saw it when we were testing everything. Like, they're literally, like, picking up puppies and putting them in their squad cars and trying to fucking wrangle birds and shit. You can, on one of the videos, you can hear the cop. He's like, "Oh, we got to get the birds too." He's like, "I'm not really a bird guy. I don't know what to do." So they also, while they were searching, they also discovered that the famous footwear had been broken into.
Okay. He was a busy man.
Yes. So they go on investigating. They actually got a call from a girl who, I think police had approached her and asked her if they'd seen a man in a leopard print onesie, and she was like, "Nah."
I think I'd remember that shit.
And then, like, 30 minutes later, she called the dispatchers, and they're like, she was like, yeah, are you guys still looking for the guy in the leopard print onesie? And the dispatcher was like, yeah. And she was like, he's right in front of me. He's asleep on a bench. Yeah. Now, this person is, as you can see here, Matthew Pancake was found sleeping near the Big Lots on Roberts Road after all of this. And he was held on a $10,000 bond for breaking and entering and vandalism. And we do have a little bit of body cam footage, which I will adorn my fucking headphones for this. Because this is one of the funniest fucking things that may have ever happened in the state of Ohio.
All right, let's see.
I'm proud to say that it is in the state of Ohio. Look at that. Look at us being professional and having the video and shit.
Mr. Pancake, you're under arrest.
Don't move.
Get on your belly. Get on your belly.
Did you hear that?
Get on your belly.
The first thing.
Mr. Pancake, you're under arrest.
Don't move.
Mr. Pancake, you're under arrest.
On your belly.
On your belly.
Roll. Get on your belly, Mr. Pancake. In the name of the law, Pancake, get on your belly.
In
the name of the law, Mr. Pancake, get on your belly.
Yes.
Dude, oh my God. It's so good.
Am I under arrest for? Seriously.
Breaking and entering. Theft.
Dude.
Damaging.
Oh, God, there is a gerbil.
There is a gerbil.
Animal abuse.
I got a gerbil. What the heck?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Did they just pulled a
Yeah.
hamster out of his leg?
Yeah.
That one must have got away.
Oh, there's more than one.
Multiple gerbils.
Multiple gerbils.
Gerbils.
Multiple gerbils recovered.
We're just advising that our suspect has multiple gerbils in his pants.
Multiple gerbils.
Dude. Like, let me turn off this shit. And I'm talking, that is top tier.
Multiple gerbils in his pants.
Dude, it goes further than that. Like there's like I watched a 14-minute body cam video. They're like, these cops are cracking the fuck up. Like it almost doesn't seem like it could be a real situation.
Was it a full moon?
I don't even know. But
In the name of the law, Mr. Pancake, get on the ground.
Okay, it did work. But like, yeah, no, this actually happened.
Hey,
Mr. Pancakes.
Columbus, what can we say?
Like,
Ohio's
and dude,
finest.
the whole, like, feel free to go find the whole fucking footage, because I had the whole thing, but there's a licensing thing, but like, these cops are cracking the fuck up.
As they should be.
Like, they're just standing there chatting it up about how they found fucking gerbils in the guy's pants and shit like that. He said, what the fuck am I under arrest for? He said, breaking and entering, Mr. Pancakes. In the name of the law, Mr. Pancakes, get on your belly.
I can't. There's a gerbil there.
Dude, are you... What's up, Gregory? If you missed the Mr. Pancakes video, Greg, rewind it a little bit. One, are you not astonished at the reality that we're living in, that happened? Not only did it happen, that it happened in our great state of Ohio. We're fucking with taking over the title from Florida right now with that one.
I mean, for one, why even be out of your house in a leopard print onesie?
And clearly, he's not a fucking stranger to getting in trouble. They knew who he was. He said, "You're under arrest, Mr. Pancake."
I mean, if he was homeless, did I not see Uggs?
Yeah, but they got those knockoff TikTok shop Uggs now.
Okay, I was just saying, because those aren't cheap. I've never owned a pair, nor would I ever.
But you probably bought a pair or two in your day.
Because I have daughters, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I think that is
now guys wear them now?
I think that is a felony in itself, wearing a male wearing.
The outfit was a lot.
I mean, I'm all for a good onesie. I mean, it keeps you, but inside.
As long as it's got a butt flap.
The comfort of your own home. Well, it couldn't, because then the gerbils would get away.
That's true. Did you notice how he had his ankles taped? He was ready for that.
That was
They had to take tape off of his ankles.
He wasn't fucking around.
Like, hold on. I'll bring it up again. because I had to go back and rewatch. But god damn it, this backwards screen shit fucks me up every time. If you go back, look at that. He untapes his ankles to reveal
Breaking and entering.
the fucking
Theft.
gerbils.
Damaging.
Oh, God,
And yes,
there's
those
a
are
gerbil.
Uggs. I think they're knockoff Uggs, but they're Uggs nonetheless.
I got a gerbil.
Nice.
What the heck?
That gerbil looks very happy. Thank you for saving me, officer.
Gerbils in his pants.
If he
Thank
was
you.
smart, he would have blamed it on Richard Gere.
Where was Richard Gere in this?
He'd been like, Pretty Woman made me do it.
Officer and a gerbil.
But yeah, dude, the whole thing is hilarious. Like when you get to hear the cops just cutting it up after that, it's so funny. They're just cracking the fuck up. And like I said, if you watch the whole thing, you can see them go fucking hello everybody. You can see them like recovering puppies and shit from out in front of the pet land. Again, anybody who's just getting in here needs to rewind and watch the fucking police body cam video that we just watched.
Show.
But like,
What is
yeah,
it?
they're literally like two different cops. You see one cop on one cop's body cam like go get a puppy and put him in the backseat of the squad car, and then the cop that like you see.
That reminds me. Did I bring the puppy in?
I think
I wonder if I should go check that before we get started.
I think I saw him walking around in there. It's either that or we got a ghost. You can go check if you want before
I'm
we
gonna
get
go
into the
check,
notes.
just in case.
But yeah, dude, like, and they, like I said, the crazy shit is they instantly knew who the fuck that was when they pulled up. That motherfucker didn't even.
That's a name you ain't gonna fucking forget.
He did. I couldn't even see his face. I'm pretty sure he was facing away. They were like, "I know that onesie, Mr. Pancake. You're under arrest." Like that. That's one of the best things I've seen in decades, potentially, and I've only been around for a few decades. Please hold. We're checking to see if there's a fucking Sandlot monster in the house. Yeah. I thought I saw him walking around in there. Oh yeah, because he came in with me. He actually listened to me for once.
Oh, that's right. You did bring it. That's why I got confused.
I had to man voice him, and it worked. I was like, Samson, and he like looked up at me, and I was like, yeah.
You're not my real dad.
Neither of you are my. See, now he's in here. All right, so shall we get into the meat and potatoes?
Sure, get into it.
Oh shit!
What?
You almost just tipped over that table
Fuck it.
with your Joe Rogan fucking mic stand over there.
Hey, I might not be professional, but I look professional.
I know. I want to look less professional. I want to get like one of those RGB microphones that has all the lights in it and shit, like a fucking video game streamer, which I might look into doing on our channel as well. Or starting a Twitch. I reloaded my Steam account, and I was like, huh. Well, there's some, dude. I'll be honest. The ones I would really like to get into, as stupid as it sounds, because our PC can't handle too much, but is like, quote unquote, board games that you can play with your friends. Like, there's one that I would really like to play with my friends called Fun Employed, where one person is the interviewer. And they get cards that are like curveballs that you throw to the people you're interviewing.
Yeah.
And the people you are interviewing all get random cards that'll say like steroids or like just random shit. And they have to work that into their spiel as to why you should get hired for the job that they give you to interview them for.
Why should I take a massive amount of steroids?
I think it would be fun as fuck.
Fun as fuck. So,
all right.
Hijacking. Oh, that's right. Douchebags.
What?
Douchebags. We're covering douchebags tonight.
Douchebags, D-bags.
Okay.
All right. We're talking about D.B. Cooper. Anybody who
Douchebag
doesn't
Cooper.
know about D.B. Cooper, here we go. I don't have shit about his early life because nobody knows who the fuck he is. So we start with on November 24th of 1971. A great year.
Before I was even born. That's how old this shit is.
It's a great year. The year of probably either an Aerosmith or Led Zeppelin album. I don't fucking know.
I can almost guarantee it.
With the hijacking. Now, the alias of this hijacker, this person purchased the ticket under the name Dan Cooper, but the press reported it as DB Cooper, and that name just stuck. The he was aboard the Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. It was a Boeing 727-100, and it was a short routine flight from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington.
That's a really short flight.
That's what I'm saying. Back in the day, back when you used to wear a suit and tie to get on a plane and shit, you would think that you would just
smoke on the plane.
Wouldn't you just get in the Rambler and fucking road trip it? Or what was the fucking stupid name of the car from Vacation? Like the Wagoneer Super or some shit like that, where they just took like two sets of
truckster?
Yeah, where they just took two sets of headlights and taillights and either put them side by side or stacked them on top of each other, and they were like, it's a different car. Because that's exactly what the fuck they did. Go back and watch it. Excuse me. Now let's get into the timeline. 2:50 p.m., Cooper boards Flight 305 carrying a briefcase and a paper bag. Panic attacks. 3 p.m., the flight departs from Portland with 36 passengers and 6 crew members. That was the first red flag I found in this whole thing.
What?
How the fuck, in 1971, did you board a plane at 2:50 and at 3 p.m. you're departing?
Different time, baby. Different fucking time.
What the fuck? Where's that where everybody went? Where's that nowadays? I haven't flown in over 10 years. But Jesus, to get to board a plane and be departing within 10 minutes? Are you shitting me?
I mean, now you gotta arrive a week beforehand.
Well, and like you said, you could smoke on the plane back then. So you gotta they're like, we gotta get out of here. We're gonna get carbon monoxide poisoning. The little twisty things that we call air conditioning that aren't fucking air conditioning at all, that smell weird and give you a headache after a while, aren't even on yet. We gotta go. So after the takeoff, Cooper hands a note to the flight attendant, Florence Schaffner, whatever. She assumes it's a phone number.
Ooh.
Hey.
I thought she was all that.
Yeah.
Snooty bitch.
And she puts it in her pocket, but Cooper insists that she reads it. The note says he has a bomb, which he later shows her in the briefcase, and it appears to contain red cylinders, wiring, and a large battery.
A large battery.
So it had 2 16-ounce Coke Classics, a fucking pack of Duracells, and like a couple RCA cords.
Sure wasn't a Scientology meter.
Oh. That's a whole nother... Nobody's brought that one to the fucking table.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here to help.
Now, he had some demands with this bomb. $200,000 in negotiable American currency, 4 parachutes, 2 primary, 2 reserve.
Just in case.
And a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane upon landing in Seattle. Now, the authorities comply with this, and the airline's president authorizes the ransom payment, and the FBI assembles the money, all in unmarked $20 bills, mostly with serial numbers starting with L from the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank, and they collect 4 parachutes, 2 from McCord Air Force Base and 2 from a local skydiving school. At 5:39 p.m., the plane lands in Seattle. Cooper allows the passengers and some of the crew to leave the plane in exchange for the ransom and the parachutes.
Why didn't they just have SEAL Team 6 right there to take him out?
I think they would have been like fucking 4.
Okay. Well, no, the SEALs were around.
The ones that took out Bin Laden, at least.
Well, but the SEALs were around in Vietnam because Jesse Ventura.
What the fuck is Jesse Ventura going to do? See, that's what I never understood. I want to see video footage of Jesse Ventura operating as a Navy SEAL. Could you imagine him being sneaky? Like, all right, we got a flank from the west side. We got about 2 clicks till we get to our destination. Drop point Charlie's gonna meet us halfway there, and we're gonna converge on Eagle 6. So we're not there yet, because I need to eat some rice and chicken. Ventura, I really need you to be quiet. We're surrounded by enemy troops in all directions. This is a fucking covert operation. Oh, sorry. Did you guys ever see that Arnold Schwarzenegger? I think I'm going to work with him one day. Jesus Christ, I swear to God, Ventura, shut the fuck up. I don't know any of his catchphrases from back in the day, or else I'd drop one in. That would be the best.
Yeah.
Like, as they're about to kick a door in, and he's just like, whatever, Jesse the body. And it's the body. Fucking Jesse Ventura. What a gold nugget of a human being. Yeah, I live in the Baja. I've got a silo full of corn tortillas in case the world goes to the shit. Now, 7:40 p.m., the plane takes off again, instructed to fly southeast towards Mexico. Jesse Ventura.
Hey, have we ever looked into this?
My name's DB Cooper. I need you to fly to the Baja. I now work for Russian television, which he does.
Nice.
True story. I will give. Jesse Ventura said ever since he's worked for Russian television, he has to admit that Vladimir Putin has never taken anything he said off of the air.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he I think he signed a contract. He's back with the WWE.
Why?
I don't know.
The fuck are they going to use him for?
Maybe commentary. I don't know.
He's just going to go off on tangent. He's worse than us.
That's true.
They're going to be like,
I don't know.
The Rock's comeback last night, Jesse the Body. How do you feel about it? Well, Kamala Harris is not within the range of my diplomatic thought processes. And Donald Trump is a weak man. Not speaking of his morals, but speaking of his physicality. Did you see Donald Trump worked, quote unquote, the drive-thru at a McDonald's? Yeah. He was like, I'm running against somebody who worked at a McDonald's. I've always wanted to work at McDonald's, but I never did. And he's just like handing people fries, and he does not look like he's doing a good job.
Well, hey, most people at McDonald's are not doing a good job.
Oh, he's like, I've never worked at McDonald's, but I'm watching like just the little clips of him doing shit, and I'm like, pick it the fuck up, Don. I would love to have worked at that McDonald's. I'd have been like, oh, you want to experience it? All right. Hey, fuckface, get the fucking fries out the goddamn window. I'm the president-elect of the United... I don't give a fuck who you are. Right now, you're the new guy, and you're going to scoop the fucking fries, and you're going to shut the fuck up. And then in 20 minutes, you're going to go on a mandatory break. And if you're not back in 15 minutes, you're fucking canned, Don. Okay. Again, 7:40 p.m., the plane takes off again, instructed to fly southeast towards Mexico City, rather, at 10,000 feet, with the landing gear down, wing flaps at 15 degrees, and at the minimum airspeed of about 200 miles per hour without stalling.
Now, I'm assuming this is for the jump.
Yes.
Because that is the big deal about jumping out of a jetliner. It's the speed, altitude. And,
yeah. Because they fly much higher, much faster than a traditional skydiving vessel.
Right, it'll rip you apart, apparently.
Now, Cooper also instructs the pilots to stay below 10,000 feet and leave the rear air stair deployed.
He's seen Maverick. He knows you got to stay below radar.
He's on some MacGyver shit. Now we get to the jump. At 8:13 p.m., the last known contact with Cooper is recorded when the plane's tail section experienced a sudden upward movement believed to be caused by Cooper lowering the air stair. I'm a fan of the term air stair. This was the point investigators believe Cooper jumped from the plane somewhere over southwestern Washington near the Lewis River.
Okay.
Now, the weather conditions that day, it was a stormy eve. Temperatures in the low 40s and winds around 200 miles per hour at the altitude at which Cooper jumped from the plane. And the terrain was rugged and heavily forested and had rivers sporadically dotted throughout the topography.
Okay.
Not ideal situations.
No.
For even, I would imagine, an experienced skydiver or parachutist. There's another parachute-oriented true crime case that I'm going to do here one day. It's foreign. I believe it's like Finnish or Swedish.
Oh.
Going to be a lot of oh yeahs in that one. Now, Cooper used one of the primary parachutes, but he took a training parachute that was sewn shut as one of the reserves, meaning that it was non-functional.
Well, that's a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, did he fucking do that, or were they like,
well,
don't take the wrong one, stupid.
Well, here's the thing. If you are experienced enough to jump out of a jet airliner.
Or any fucking plane for that matter, really.
I would think you would be able to tell the difference, and there might be an issue with...
Yeah, you'd think you'd investigate the shit.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd check the shit. Because, I mean, even if you're not, like, a world-class parachuter, you would think if you're going to do this, you know at least that much.
I mean, you would think. I mean, has anybody looked at Tom Cruise's whereabouts?
During all this?
Yes.
Probably in his mom's puss.
Oh, he was... Fuck, no, he was born.
Or just freshly crawling out of it.
Oh, he's born probably in at least
The 60s.
He's probably 10 or 12. I would.
It was Tom Cruise. He used the money to start this Church of Scientology with L. Ron Hubbard, even though that happened a long time before this. Now, excuse me, these parachutes were standard, non-steerable military parachutes, making precision landing very difficult.
Okay.
This is not boding well from a logistical standpoint in my mind. Again, not a parachuter. Pretty sure I'm too fucking heavy to do it anyway. It's a good thing. But none of this equals success.
Well, there's no reason to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Yeah, right?
And there, even if I was on a plane that was going down and the pilot walked by me with a parachute, I'm not jumping out of the motherfucker.
At that point, if I'm going to die, I'm doing it. Fuck it.
I'll go up to the cockpit. I'll land that motherfucker, or at least give it a good old college try.
I'm going to do it, and the whole time I'm going to be screaming the Red Hot Chili Peppers cover of Higher Ground. Like did you ever see the original Power Rangers movie?
No.
It starts with the Power Rangers skydiving in a skydiving competition, and like that's the song, Fever, keep on flying. But it's the Chili Peppers version.
I'm not that bothered.
Oh, dude, it's sick. Tommy, the White Ranger, fucking has like a he like, I don't know if it's skyboarding, but basically has like a snowboard, and he's like fucking spinning around and shit, and you're like, yeah, dude.
I'm not jumping out of a plane.
Fair enough.
I'm going down with it. Like I said, I'm going to try to land that bitch. How hard could it be? I mean, fuck.
Pull up and just fucking pray. Now, again.
Let's pull out and pray. Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Just pull and pray. It works in multiple ways.
Not really. Tried it twice, didn't work.
Now, again, the ransom money was provided in $20 bills totaling 10,000 notes, and the FBI made microfilms of the bills to track them in case they were spent.
Smart. Government's smart.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. Like nowadays, it'd be like, Johnson, you got your phone? Take pictures of these bills real quick. They just ching, 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 ching. That was racist. Now, despite extensive checks of banks, stores, and institutions, none of the bills were spent or discovered for nearly a decade until a significant discovery in 1980. Now, let's get into some search and investigation notes.
Okay, let's get into it.
The initial search included the FBI launching a massive manhunt in the suspected drop zone, which was a vast area around the Lewis River, Washington area.
And also a shitty Wesley Snipes movie.
Drop Zone?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. I do need to see fucking Deadpool and Wolverine, though.
Oh, good movie. Drop Zone, not so much, but...
Now, hundreds of agents combined combed the forests, but no trace of Cooper, the parachutes, or the money was found.
Which is what's weird about this whole thing.
He just fucking disappeared.
Right. You would think odds are he fucking died.
That's what his name stands for, Disappeary Boy.
But you would think he would at least got caught up in the trees, so you'd find the parachute.
Right. You'd think they'd just be like looking around, like, you got anything, Winston? No, nothing over here. Pass me those fucking Winstons.
But you would
then like you just, hey, and then somebody just gets hit with a twig, and you look up and you just see just a dude with a parachute harness like 2.5 inches up his asshole that's just been hanging in a tree for like 3 days. He's like, little help. Like, we're gonna get you down and you're under arrest. You'll never take me alive, coppers. He just starts pissing down his leg at him.
But you would think even if he got away, you would find the parachute hung up in something, or at least
right.
He didn't fucking fold it up and take it with him.
Right. Well, I mean, if he's, I mean, in a way, you would think that you would, just because of like potential fingerprints and shit like that. Like in an ideal,
this is 1971.
But they had fingerprints. They were doing fingerprints. They started doing fingerprints in like 1912.
Yeah, but they didn't have a good database.
No, but like still, you'd think in a perfect world, if you were this person, you would take everything with you.
I'm just saying,
I would.
Back in the 70s and further back,
you just cut and run and say fuck it.
You had to be a serious fuck up to get caught in anything.
Dude, if I had a time machine, motherfucker,
I would be a mastermind.
First off, I'd tell Michael Rockefeller not to go to East Sentinel Island or North Sentinel Island. Did you see that shit?
What?
There's a book, I need to read it, that somebody wrote about, I guess, like...
He's the one that got ate by the cannibals, right?
Yeah, that everybody thought, like, had worked his way into the society. No, he didn't.
He was lunch.
He tried to barter for like one of their weapons or something like that, or like a stick that they used for something. And like according to this book that he wrote, like in contingency with like some people that were there with him.
Yeah.
I guess their boat went down and like some of them got out. He didn't. Apparently, according to them, like when he tried to barter for this, it like offended them and like they just didn't forget that. So when he came back, like I guess there was just like this chanting while they're rowing and he's hurt and then he's like, ugh, and then they get to like someplace that's not the village and they just start fucking stabbing him. But
fuck around and find out.
He did. Where was I? Okay. The flight path and jump zone. That's where we are. Using data from radar and pilot observations, investigators narrowed down a possible flight path, and the jump zone was later estimated to be near Ariel, Washington, which is a small rural area near the Lewis River.
Sweet.
Cooper left behind a black clip-on tie, a mother-of-pearl tie clip, and 2 of the parachutes, one of which had been opened and had lines cut from it, believed to have been used to secure the money bag to his body.
Smart. DB's not stupid.
Yeah. Douchebag got it on point. Now let's get into some theories about DB's Cooper's ultimate fate. There's quite a few here. The survival chances, according to experts, are divided, or these experts that have weighed in on this are divided on whether Cooper survived the jump factors against his survival, and these factors include the weather and the conditions were not good, shitty conditions. The area was heavily forested and remote, also not good unless you know where the fuck you're going. He wasn't wearing specialized gear, and he had loafers and a business suit.
Maybe he had long johns underneath and wool socks.
Oh well, I mean I don't think you have to wear anything crazy to skydive traditionally. So like as long as he was within the parameters of that, then he should be fine even with a business suit.
You would think. Well,
you would think the loafers might come off. What kind of loafers? Were they penny loafers? Did he put any of the money in the penny loafers?
Maybe that's where he hid the money. I mean,
the right penny is worth more than that money.
That's true. $200,000 is not a lot of money.
I think it's equivalent to like 1.5 million today.
In 70, yeah, I can see that. But I'd still think I'd go at least a cool $1 million, even in 70.
Now, some of the possible outcomes here. He died during the jump, which some believe that he didn't survive and might have died from injuries or exposure to the elements. He did survive, but he got lost, and if he survived, he may have been unable to navigate this rough terrain, so he was fucked. Or he survived and escaped, which some people do believe, but I guess it's a smaller sect of people that have looked into this.
Because that doesn't make sense.
Or does it?
Well,
unless he had a phenomenal escape plan.
But the money was marked, and they had that money has never showed up except in like at a bank or
Yeah.
Or did it? Or did I hear something? Maybe didn't a Billards 2 show up in Vegas? Okay.
I've got 14 more pages of this.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I thought we were done.
Now, the money discovery of 1980, not the one you're thinking of. In February of 1980, a boy named Brian Ingram found $5,800 in decaying $20 bills along the banks of the Columbia River near Vancouver, Washington, about 20 miles downstream from the suspected jump area. The serial numbers on the bills matched the ransom money given to Cooper, sparking new interest in this case. However, no further money or evidence was discovered anywhere nearby.
Which kind of says, okay, maybe he got away, or the jump zone was completely way off, 20 miles off.
I mean, if that bag opened whatsoever at all, that money's going to end up fucking everywhere.
But you think if it opened up while he was in the air, it wouldn't be 20 miles downstream. It'd be.
And you would also think, well, I was going to say, with the stormy weather makes it a little more interesting. Yeah. Because I was going to say, on a clear day, I'm pretty sure that you could kind of trail that airplane at that point, to an extent, as long as you're in connection or conversation with the other jurisdictions on the flight path.
You mean like a military?
Not even, like just from the ground. If it was clear skies, 10,000 feet or under.
That'd be kind of hard. I think it'd be hard to do it at night, even.
And if you're talking to air control, they can track it.
Because of what was the speed? 200 miles.
200 miles an hour.
It's hard to keep up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Between air traffic control and just be like, hey, next county over.
Get a guy ready and
Right. Just look up. Let us know.
I mean, I don't know how many Lamborghinis or Ferraris were around in 71.
And they also, I don't think they went 200 miles an hour either.
Yeah.
Not safely, at least.
Get Mario Andretti.
Mario, it's a me, Mario. I would do that every fucking time I'm on camera if I was Mario Andretti. So, over the years, the FBI investigated more than 1,000 suspects. Some of the most famous include Richard Floyd McCoy. Richard Floyd McCoy is one of the strongest suspects in the case due to his involvement in a remarkably similar skyjacking just a few months after the Cooper incident. On April 7th of 1972, McCoy hijacked a United Airlines flight, demanded $500,000, and parachuted from the plane in the same fashion as Cooper. And he was caught, tried, and sentenced to 45 years in prison, but later in a shootout during an attempt, but he later died in a shootout during an attempted prison escape.
Huh. Well,
what shitty prison did you send him to that he ended up escaping, which involved a shootout?
Well, you know,
is it a shootout or did you shoot him? Because that means two very different things.
Yes, a shootout implies he also had a gun.
Yes. Or was he like slingshotting rocks at him?
Or maybe he, got the jump on a guard, got his gun or her gun, I guess.
I guess they may have carried guns back then still.
I know
they don't anymore.
Oh, well, don't they have? They all have somebody on the tower with a rifle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. They might probably carry guns back then, I would imagine.
Hey, boy, get back in your cell. Now, but 45 years he got sentenced to? Damn, did he kill somebody? Fuck.
It's a good bet that was him, just for mere fact. First time, 200,000, that was hard damn work. I'm going to go for 500,000 this time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Well, I mean, when you think if 200,000 was about 1.5 today, he's going for 3. I would have to say that 3... Not that I would ever do it, but 3 is kind of worth the hassle, potentially. Yeah.
$3 million ain't worth me jumping out of a plane.
Fuck, I'll jump out of a plane for $3 million. I'll jump out of for $3 million. We might be able to talk about me jumping out of a plane without a parachute and somebody meeting me halfway and putting one on me.
Nope.
Because people have done that. Have you seen that shit? Yeah, there's people that have jumped out of planes without parachutes and they just like fly over to somebody else and they like strap in.
That was Point Break.
No, that's real life.
Well, those fuckers are stupid.
Multiple people have done it now.
Those people rode the short bus.
They get paid a lot of money, though.
No, I don't care how much money you offer me. I'm not jumping out of an airplane.
I will. Anyway,
I will not.
Once I'm of safe body weight to do so, at least.
I don't care if I weigh 100 pounds. I am not jumping out of an airplane.
Fuck, 100 pounds, you might survive if you hit the ground. Because if either of us got to 100 pounds, we'd have enough skin that we could just grab our sides and flip them out like a flying squirrel.
And fuck those guys who use
the flying suit, the wingsuits.
Cliffs.
That shit, it's cool as fuck though
to watch, but those bitches are crazy.
It is cool as fuck to watch though. Anyway, now similar to Cooper, McCoy's hijacking had many elements in common with Cooper's, including the use of a Boeing 727. Is probably just a very popular fucking aircraft at the time.
I would imagine.
And the parachuting method. This led some to believe that McCoy might have been Cooper, or at the very least that the two incidents were connected. Now, the FBI officially ruled out McCoy as a suspect because he didn't match descriptions of Cooper and had an alibi for Thanksgiving of 1971. However, some investigators have remained convinced that McCoy could have been D.B. Cooper, or that McCoy was inspired by Cooper's crime. I would have to say no shit to the latter part of that.
That's a way to go out on a big fucking limb.
Yeah, another guy jumped out of a fucking airplane after he demanded some ransom. There's no way they're connected. What's the chances? It only happened twice in the history of the United States government. There's no way they're connected. Or at least there's no way that there was some form of like, hey, I could do that. Because that's all. I'd imagine that's mostly what that is. It was like, hey, I know how to do that. I could do that. That guy got away. You ain't caught him yet. Honey, get my flying backpack. I'm going to do some silly things. I'll be home for dinner. But he wasn't. He got shot in a fucking shootout. A prison shootout. I still want to know the story behind that. Next, Kenneth Christensen. Kenneth Christensen, a former Northwest Orient Airlines employee and ex-paratrooper, was proposed as a suspect in 2003, little behind the buck.
Yeah, no shit.
Christensen's brother Lyle believed he was D.B. Cooper, and investigative journalist Jeffrey Gray included him as a potential suspect in his book Skyjack, The Hunt for D.B. Cooper. A very on-the-nose name. But yeah, 2003, it took you that long? It took you what? What's that, 42 years? Or 32 years?
32.
What the fuck?
Oh,
That motherfucker done spend that money already.
Didn't spend any of it.
Well, he didn't spend $5,800 of it, at least.
I'm pretty sure that money would have showed. I don't think any of it was spent.
Unless he had it set up to be recycled. Laundered.
Well, it still would have to pop up somewhere.
Or would it? Not if you change the serial numbers.
Then just fucking get into counterfeiting, motherfucker.
Well, I'm not saying that he may not have been able to do so, but, you know,
Right.
with that amount of money, be like, yo, I got $200,000. It's worth 1.5 with inflation, so let's call it 1.5. I've got $200,000. I'll give you $50,000 to counterfeit these bills with different serial numbers. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Escobar.
I don't know.
Or maybe he took it to Hitler in Hollow Earth
Or Argentina.
with King Kong and fucking Godzilla.
Godzilla.
That's a pretty good Godzilla. Anyway,
Oh,
why Christensen, you ask?
Why Christian? I will ask.
Testicles, spectacles, wallet, and watch. He bore a resemblance to the sketch of Cooper, had experience as a paratrooper, and worked for Northwest Orient Airlines again. Now, according to Lyle, his brother, Christensen made a suspicious deathbed statement in 1994 saying, quote, "There is something you should know, but I cannot tell you."
In 1994?
Yeah. He didn't live very long after
That could have been, he was D.B. Cooper, or in 1994, that could have been, I'm gay.
That could have been literally anything.
I mean, it could have been anything.
That could have been anything. That could have been like, I knocked up your fucking wife. Or like, I'm the one that stole mom's dildo.
I think this guy was connecting a few dots.
It could have literally been anything. Like, you remember that time Dad beat you for pissing the bed?
It was me.
It was me. Remember that time Mom beat you for hiding all those penthouses under your mattress? Also me. Every ass whooping you got in our childhood was me. Dead. Now, there was some flaws in this theory. Although it was an intriguing theory, the FBI found no direct evidence linking Christensen to the hijacking, and he also didn't fit the physical description exactly, and there was no evidence that he had come into large amounts of money after the hijacking. Again, that's how you stay rich. You act broke.
It's always the motherfucker who goes out, buys a sports car, gets caught.
Right? Just look at the fucking, what was that? The armored car heist that we covered a while back.
Oh, yeah.
Idiot. He said, how do you make all this money? I'm an NFL player. Oh, you play for the Panthers? Nah, one of them teams up north. That was literally the guy's fucking response. This brings us to the next option of people who might have done it. Robert Rackstraw. Good wrestling name again. He was a Vietnam War veteran with a colorful criminal history. Emerged as a prominent suspect after being investigated by both law enforcement and private sleuths.
Sleuths.
Yes, he was. Sleuths have a lot to do with all of this. A lot of this shit. He was featured in multiple documentaries and books, with some theorists proposing him as the likeliest candidate. Rackstraw had a military background, was skilled in flying planes, and had a history of deception and criminal activity. His own family members and acquaintances have stated that he enjoyed leading people to believe he might be D.B. Cooper.
So, in other words, it wasn't him.
That's just like, what's the guy's name that they call the confession killer? That, like, just started confessing to murders that, like, he definitely didn't do just because it got him fucking attention and they treated him nice.
Right.
They gave him cigarettes and shit. Now, Rackstraw repeatedly denied being D.B. Cooper and was never charged in connection with the case. And the FBI eventually ruled him out, but his name continues to be a major topic in discussion about the hijacking. So he didn't fucking do it. That's my professional opinion.
Take that for what it's worth.
Now we get to Lynn Doyle, or L.D. Cooper. You got Douchebag Cooper and Lil Dick Cooper.
I'd much rather be Douchebag Cooper.
You're already Lil Dick Cooper.
That's stating the obvious. I want something different.
Now, Lynn Doyle Cooper, a Korean War veteran, was implicated by his niece, Marla Cooper, snitch, who came forward in 2011 with claims that her uncle was the infamous hijacker. According to Marla, her uncles were planning something suspicious around Thanksgiving of 1971, and after the hijacking, LD returned home injured, claiming it was from a car accident.
Intriguing.
Now, Marla claimed that L.D. Cooper made statements that could be interpreted as admissions of guilt, and she also said that after the hijacking, her uncles, quote, acted strangely. There's some weaknesses to this, though.
Did they stop touching her or what?
Right, like, what is acted strange? When you say my uncles acted strangely, that is a very broad scope. That could mean they drank a case of a different beer every day after they got off work roofing houses and doing methamphetamines.
Or they just got off the meth period.
Yeah.
That would fuck up somebody's system.
That could mean they potentially beat up a different wife or girlfriend.
Right.
If they were police officers.
Or they did not have any luck arresting Mr. Pancakes and the gerbils.
In the name of the law, Mr. Pancakes, on your belly.
Oh, that was classy. You gotta watch. If you're coming in late, you gotta go back.
God, that's good stuff.
And check that out.
OH.
IO, baby.
Now, some weakness in this story. The FBI found little evidence to support this theory, and L.D. Cooper's background did not entirely align with what was known about D.B. Cooper. What the fuck was known about D.B. Cooper?
Absolutely fucking
If we
nothing.
knew anything about fucking D.B. Cooper, wouldn't you have been able to find him, dipshits?
We knew nothing about D.B. Cooper.
What the fuck? That's like it didn't really align with what we knew about D.B. Cooper. Yeah, just like you got a divorce because your brain didn't really, or your wife didn't align with what you did or did not know about the clitoris. That's what they should have. That's
like
what they should have.
It doesn't exist.
That's what they should have fucking hashed this up as.
It doesn't.
They should have
exist.
done a press conference and be like, DB Cooper's just like the female orgasm. It is
It's
nonsense. It doesn't exist. It never has. And just stop looking for
they
it.
say it's there, but I've never seen it.
Anyway, now this comes to Dwayne Weber. This is the one that I find the most interesting.
Okay.
This comes from a 1995 deathbed confession.
Oh, he's way too old.
Wait for it. Now, Dwayne L. Weber was a World War II Army veteran who had a history of petty crime, including burglary, forgery, and other offenses that had led to multiple prison stints. Despite his criminal background, he had largely avoided major legal troubles later in life and seemed to lead a relatively quiet existence with his wife, Jo. Now, his confession in 95 was just days before he died from kidney disease, and he reportedly told his wife, Jo Weber, quote, I'm Dan Cooper, which was the name that the ticket was purchased in,
right.
not DB. At the time, his wife, Jo, who had no idea what this meant, but after his death, she began investigating and discovered the connection to the famous DB Cooper hijacking. This is the stuff that she wrangled up in her investigation. After his death, she started piecing together various clues from her life with Dwayne that seemed to support his deathbed claim. Some of these details include his mysterious behavior. Dwayne had once had a nightmare during which he was talking in his sleep about leaving fingerprints on a plane. This occurred years before Jo knew anything about the D.B. Cooper case. Which also makes me wonder, like, you didn't know about the fucking D.B. Cooper case? This is still to this day kind of a big fucking deal.
You gotta remember, there's only like 3 channels. Back then.
Yeah, everybody was a Packers, Steelers, or fucking Cowboys fan.
That's it. I mean, news, it took weeks to get news across the country, so,
You're still using the Pony Express.
pretty much.
So back in the day when people used to book train trips as
They
vacations.
still had them fuckers with the little telegraph. No, we're not that old. I'm not that old.
Medicine running short. Stop. Need help. Stop. Send DB Cooper money. Stop.
DB Cooper got a twig up his ass in the fall.
Now, his familiarity with the location of the crime.
Okay.
Dwayne Weber had taken Joe on a vacation to Washington State in 1979, specifically to areas near Seattle and the Columbia River, where ransom money was later found.
He's taking her to dig up the...
Joe said Dwayne seemed to know the area very well, despite having no history of living there or anything like that. You like how I got cut off? And I just had to fill in the blanks.
Good job.
Now, after his death, her investigation uncovered several other strange details that fueled suspicions about his potential involvement in the DB Cooper hijacking. Mysterious injuries. Now, Dwayne had a knee injury that he claimed he got from, quote, jumping out of a plane. At the time, Joe thought it was a passing comment, but after his death and the revelation of his alleged connection with DB Cooper case, she began to wonder if it was related to the infamous hijacking. Then there's a handwriting analysis. Joe Weber claimed that Dwayne's handwriting bore similarities to the handwriting found on a note left by DB Cooper during the hijacking. However, no definitive conclusion was made from this comparison by any experts. Raleigh cigarettes and bourbon. During the hijacking, DB Cooper was reported to have smoked Raleigh filter-tipped cigarettes and ordered a bourbon with soda. Joe Weber stated that Dwayne also smoked Raleigh cigarettes and frequently drank bourbon, which seemed like another odd coincidence. Okay, bourbon's pretty fucking popular, and how many brands of fucking cigarettes were there in the 70s?
I don't know if Raleigh was a popular brand in the West. I don't know. Very well could be.
Marlboro. I'll smoke Marlboros. Let's get into an FBI investigation of this. Once Joe Weber came forward with her suspicions, the FBI took her claims seriously and conducted an investigation into Dwayne Weber. And here's what the investigation revealed. My voice is very hoarse tonight. I should have drank more water. Instead, we'll drink good, classic, hydrating cola.
Works for me.
Nothing like a little caramel dye number 69.
I like caramel 69.
Mulatto 69. Serial numbers and the money. Joe Weber submitted multiple leads to the FBI, but investigators were unable to find any of the ransom money in Dwayne Weber's possession, nor did any of the bills turn up in his financial history. In 2007, the FBI obtained a partial DNA sample from the clip-on tie left behind by Cooper on the hijacked plane. They compared this DNA to a sample of Dwayne Weber, but the results were inconclusive. The DNA profile from the tie was too limited to make a definitive match, nor could it exclude him completely. So there was sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Like, right there in the fucking middle. The FBI also compared Dwayne Weber's fingerprints with the partial fingerprints lifted from the plane's surfaces, such as the rear stair door and armrest, but there was no conclusive match.
So that's a big no.
Also, the way that they word it seems middle of the road as well, kinda. Now, despite Joe Weber's conviction that her husband was DB Cooper, there were many doubts surrounding Dwayne Weber as a suspect. Go figure. The FBI was unable to find any direct evidence linking Dwayne Weber to the hijacking, such as Cooper's parachute, money, or other identifying items.
That shit's long gone anyway. You'll
Yeah.
find that.
Some experts argue that Joe Weber may have inadvertently conflated small, unconnected details from her husband's life with the Cooper case after his deathbed confession.
Very possible.
Some theorize that Weber, being a career criminal with a flair for storytelling, may have made the confession to mislead or impress his wife before he died.
See, I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
It's kind of shitty if that's true.
If you're on the ass end,
He's like,
of that
I got
marriage,
one more zinger for that bitch.
you ain't trying to impress anybody, especially your wife of that on your deathbed.
Dad, we love you. Remember, boys, keep them on their toes.
If anything, you're doing a deathbed confessional of telling her exactly what you fucking think.
Right.
Fuck
Your ass
you.
did look fat in those jeans. It did smell weird sometimes.
Your cooking sucks,
Your meatloaf tasted like shit.
and you snore like a freight train.
More theories around Dwayne Weber. While he remains a popular suspect for many amateur sleuths, several factors are often debated in relation to his potential involvement. His criminal background, for one. Some theorists argue that Weber's history of petty crime and time in prison could mean that he had the cunning and mindset for the hijacking. Others point out that his crimes were far smaller in scale and sophistication than the D.B. Cooper hijacking, making it unlikely that he would have had the capability to pull off such an audacious crime, which I think is a very massive point. Because somebody is like a small-time thief or burglar or even a carjacker does not mean that they're going to hijack a plane and fucking jump out of it.
Right, but it doesn't also mean that they can't, because just because they've done smaller crimes doesn't mean they can't aren't capable of.
I don't disagree, but I don't
bit.
find the idea to be damning whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor now. Possible mental health issues. Go figure. Who would have thought we were going to jump into this fucking
She was
lake?
a bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Or her husband was. Some speculate that Dwayne may have suffered from some form of delusion or embellishment in his final years, possibly explaining the alleged confession without him truly being D.B. Cooper. Very much likely.
He's a pathological liar.
He may have just been obsessed with the shit.
Very true.
And then he was not in his right mind for those last moments of his life, and he was like, I done it.
I think when I die, I'm going to have a deathbed confession that I was D.B. Cooper.
When I die,
Even though I wasn't born yet.
D.B. Cooper. Wait, what?
Even though I wasn't even, what was it, November of 71? I wasn't even gestating in November of 71.
God, what am I going to come up with? I got to do something even more outlandish. I'm Dracula.
I was the 5th hijacker.
I'm fucking Lizzie Borden. I'm John Wilkes Booth. Or I'm go with something more believable. I'm Pol Pot's great-great-great-grandson. Ooh. We should do an episode on that. On Pol Pot. I don't think enough people understand the atrocities of Pol Pot.
I don't know anything about this. Well, I think it'll be a good episode for you to do.
We'll just say that, like, massive numbers of death that most people don't know about. Another tyrannical figure in Asia.
Oh,
Cambodia, I think.
Like I give a rat's ass about Asian heritage.
Dude, I'm talking millions. It was like a straight up genocide. It's along the line of, like, other than Hotel Rwanda, I don't think that, like, the Hutu Tutsi thing gets enough recognition from the masses. Like, I don't think enough people know about how many horrific atrocities have happened in the history of the world.
Really, if you think about it, by sheer numbers, Adolf,
he wasn't that bad.
No, I'm saying he was kind of a slacker compared to some of these guys.
Fucking Genghis Khan and shit.
And Stalin even was.
Yeah. And fuck, like I said, Genghis Khan. Look at that motherfucker.
Yeah.
There's still what, like a fraction of a percentage of the whole world has his DNA.
Because he was graping like a son of a bitch.
See, Gregory worked with Cambodians who escaped Pol Pot.
Huh.
Dude, we could do a Pol Pot. Like, it was bad. Pol Pot killed, or was responsible for killing, a shitload of people. Like, a lot. I think it might have been more than Hitler.
Oh, I would say so because I think Stalin killed more than Hitler. Especially if you count.
Not that this is a competition. Like it's all fucking terrible. I'm not saying fucking rookie numbers, 11 million pussy. Like no, it's fucking terrible.
What kind of shit's
Speaking
that?
of, there's this Jewish rapper.
Oh, okay.
What's his name? It's like BLP Kosher or some shit like that.
Okay, I'm
Dude,
take your word
this
for it.
this motherfucker, I just saw him. He got a new chain. It is a fucking iced out dreidel. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I fuck with it. And then there's dude, oh my god, I was watching the video of him getting this dreidel chain, and he was like, oh, it's sick, which it was kind of fucking dope. It was like all diamonds. It was a dreidel, and then it had like Hebrew letters and pink diamonds, and then there was Hebrew lettering on the back and shit like
How
that.
many Diddy parties did he go to? Jeez.
He also had a fucking like a all gold Star of David given to him that was like literally like that fucking big.
Flavor Flav clock
Literally,
style?
yeah, literally. But like it was so funny because I know you don't listen to hip hop, but was a popular hip hop artist named Pooh Shiesty, who he's not so popular anymore because he's in prison. But I liked his music. I like that. Like a lot of people give me shit, but like 2 million, so not as many as fucking, but still a lot. Anything over 2 or 3 is too many. Okay, 2 or 3 is also too many. But anyway,
I think everybody should at least get one.
But anyway, so yeah, Pooh Shiesty. I was a fan of Pooh Shiesty because he made a lot of that like gangster street shit, but it's what he knew. So I was like, all right, so it's got a vibe. It's got some cool beats. Anyway, Pooh Shiesty has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
But he gets this fucking dude, this BLP Kosher, I think is the kid's name. He's got like the fucking like, he's got like,
all the
not curls, but like dreads that like stick out on each side instead of the curl. I'm like, okay, so you're like new age. Got it. You're not like Hasidic. You're like something. I don't fucking know. But dude, he gets this fucking iced out dreidel chain, and literally he puts it on. He was like, this is the Jew Shiesty chain, and I fucking lost my shit. Jew Shiesty. I was like, why is that not your name? Pooh Shiesty was already fucking massively huge. Why would you not be Jew Shiesty? Other than possibly getting shot for stealing his name. Because Pooh Shiesty's in prison for like getting into a shootout like on camera. Yeah. It was like him and his boys, and there's like a McLaren and like a Mercedes, and then somebody rolls up, which actually no, I don't think that's what he's in prison for. I think he got off for that one because it was self-defense. And he wasn't carrying a gun. But anyway, Jew Shiesty was fucking phenomenal.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Little skater kid, Jewish rapper. Saw another video at another jewelry store of him where he like did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire skate edition. And I was like, God, the motherfucker knows his skating. I was like, all right, cool. So you're a skater. He was a skater boy.
Did you know she was married to
The guy from Nickelback?
your favorite guy?
Yeah.
I watched a documentary about that. There was a real the beef reason you don't like him was because of his
transgressions with other bands,
the talking
and being a dick about fans.
talking shit about Slipknot. Let's be honest, but there was actually a reason for it. They were signed to the same fucking label, and even they were getting Slipknot apparently was upset because Nickelback was getting a little extra treatment, the good treatment.
Yeah.
But in the former president said, well, there's a reason for it. Nickelback was keeping the fucking lights on, and all you motherfuckers paid.
What record label?
I forget the name of the record label, but it was a heavy metal fucking
Roadrunner? It was probably Roadrunner.
Yeah, it was. They were the only normal fucking band. The rest of them were all heavy metal.
Yeah, Roadrunner represented everybody.
And the president said they were keeping the lights on, and you guys paid. That's why they got a little extra treatment.
I didn't know they were signed to Roadrunner because Roadrunner was like
originally
the metal record label.
I guess originally. So
Yeah.
they were outcast, and that's that sparked the tension between the groups because
I don't think anybody from Nickelback was on the Roadrunner United compilation album.
Yeah, it was just funny. He said that's why they got extra treatment because they were the one making the company money. The rest of you guys weren't.
Well, then,
Well, if you think,
and I still stand by it. Like
he is a bit.
He's
douche.
a douche, and
think
their
he's better
music
now.
is like,
I I think he's better. He is a damn. I will give him. He's a damn good songwriter. And I don't. Give
I don't think he is.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They got some fuck.
Yeah. No, I give them credit for what they've done.
Like
they have some hits. They've got songs that I know. I think part of it is like once they got a hit, it became very unilateral.
Well,
there ceased to be a whole lot of depth in the songs that they actually put the effort into to actually make them popular.
Yeah, they hit a formula and they played that formula.
Yeah,
which
like
is
the song,
basically what
the album that had their first like big hit. I can't even remember which one it is.
It was How You Remind Me was the one that broke.
Yeah. The same album had like I don't know their whole discography, but had a super deep song on it called Never Again. And it sounded like their music, but the whole thing was literally about a girl that like her husband or whoever got drunk and put his hands on her all the time and never again. One day he came home and she was done and fucking she handled like business was handled. Like that was like that.
That's beautiful.
Put out songs like that every once in a while. Like push songs that actually fucking mean something like that. Not I like your pants around your dick. Like what the fuck off with that
Sex
shit.
sells, baby.
How You Remind Me is not a bad song.
No, it's not a bad song.
Fucking like
Saving Me is not a bad song.
Hey, I wanna be a cock star. Like
that was a little
they're if you mixed Creed with Kid Rock, that's what they are.
Right. But here's what the problem is with them. They hit so hard and so fast, they just got fucking radio. Buried them.
They're the highest selling Canadian musical act of all time.
And right.
Are you again not even hating on them, but that is atrocious.
But they were so
above. Go ahead.
They were so popular so fast. Of course, people are going to turn on you eventually. When you're everywhere, people are going to turn.
Yeah, like because the other thing is like musically, like there's members like the guitarist from that band. I don't know his name. Is a fucking damn good guitarist.
Yeah,
much akin to what's his fuck from Limp Bizkit.
Right. Well,
like, Wes Borland. Way better. Like, and I like Limp Bizkit, but like Wes Borland's a way better guitar player than Limp Bizkit is a musical band.
Right. I can't disagree with that. But
Slipknot had beef with Limp Bizkit too. Well, Fred Durst.
Everybody had beef with fucking Limp Bizkit. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
You just can't be that fucking big so fast.
Thank you. Well, that's literally what I was going to say. Gregory said that's a crime. Rush is so much better. How are they like? I want to see the fucking reason for why they are higher selling than Rush. Or even you could even make the argument for Celine Dion. Not my style, but she's fucking massive and has been for 40 years.
Here's the thing about Rush. I like Rush. I don't like all their shit. I love
Rush.
I don't like all their shit.
Rush is musically one of the best bands of all time.
But musically,
doesn't always pay the bills, if you will.
They are the most complex
as fuck
band of all. I mean,
especially for a three-piece.
Right. That musically, it is astonishing.
I literally cried when Neil Peart died.
And one of the great, I don't give a fuck, one of the greatest percussionists of all fucking time.
Yeah.
But they didn't have, it was a timing issue.
Well, and they made like fucking 14-minute songs.
And plus they were more into that theatrical concept album stuff, which doesn't play very well.
But
outside of Michael Jackson and fucking Def Leppard pulled it off once.
Hey, South Park made a fucking episode where they were Rush. I mean, and they played it. They used to play it on stage. Like South Park, they played Tom Sawyer, and Cartman was like, "Daytime day, the big," and like they used to play that on the fucking screen before they played Tom Sawyer. It's so cool.
I mean,
but yeah,
Rush is just one of the. I mean, every one of them are phenomenal.
I was so fucking mad that I didn't get to go to their farewell tour. Like I remember we were refreshing the page at midnight when they put the tickets on sale for the closest show for that tour, and like it like bogged down at like 12 when we refreshed it, and then we refreshed it again, and when it reloaded, it was fucking sold out.
I liken Nickelback to another. Well, see, it's not really apples to apples, but the popularity of a one-hit wonder that was so fucking big, Vanilla Ice. Ice Ice Baby was so fucking.
He still has the original 5.0. I just saw it today.
That song was so fucking big and played. You were hearing it in your sleep.
I take that back. He has the original body of the original 5.0 because I saw the video today. You know what has happened with the original 5.0?
What?
It has 1,100 horsepower now.
Of course it does. But
it's fucking dope. He's got his little fucking like what was it? Cupid logo, like his little Cupid logo, like stitched into the headrests and shit. But he's doing fucking great now. He's got Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s first stock car.
But think about it. That was so fucking popular. People just got tired of it.
Yeah.
But yet, the motherfucker was a millionaire over fucking night.
Yeah.
The same thing with Creed. But now Creed, not Creed. I'm sorry, Nickelback. They just had, and here's same Creed as Nickelback is the American version of Nickelback.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, random thought.
We'll get back to DB Cooper.
Disney put out a whole new sound or something like that. For anybody, you have kids, so you might actually find some of it entertaining. They took pop punk bands like Yellow Card and shit like that, and like they got to pick songs from Disney movies when they were kids and cover them, and they made an album. And it tickles my inner child like a fucking Catholic priest. I was fucking jamming these Disney songs so fucking hard. It was dope.
All right, you're right. Let's get back to DB Cooper. We've rambled enough.
That's true. Now, Joe Weber remains convinced that Dwayne Weber was DB Cooper and continues to publicize her theories about his involvement. And she has been featured in multiple documentaries and interviews providing details about their life together and her personal investigation into the mystery. And anybody who's been watching this, thank you for coming. Like and share the video. Fucking share it. Nobody shares the video.
We actually do. We get some shares. We get like 20, 30 shares a week.
Fuck yeah. I love people. I love our viewers and listeners. All 19 of you. So yeah, she still believes in that shit. But while Dwayne Weber's deathbed confession and the circumstantial evidence provided by Joe Weber certainly make him one of the more compelling DB Cooper suspects, no concrete evidence has emerged to definitively tie him to the hijacking.
Well, here's the thing about this guy. World War II veteran. That means in 71, he was in his probably mid-50s, mid to late 50s. He was what?
Oh, Dwayne Weber?
Yeah, this guy. He was a World War II vet.
I can't remember if he was the... Yes. So, I couldn't remember if he was the World War II or if he was the Korea.
So he was at least 18 to 20 and 42-ish, 3-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Another fucking, 30 years onto that. So he was in his 50s when the hijacking
at least close to it.
I would say definitely at least 50 or
no,
older.
I'm saying lowest of low balls. He was at least close to his 50s, yeah.
I would say he's definitely in his 50s.
Probably, realistically.
So that might make me being that age.
You ain't jumping out of no planes.
Even if
I'd be surprised if you could get on a plane.
I'm lucky to jump out of bed. I mean, it hurts.
I'm lucky to jump.
I'm not white man can't jump. I didn't have that much of a vertical in my 20s.
I'm not even fully white and I can't jump.
I would pull something. I'd blow out an Achilles thinking about jumping.
Pull your pride. Oh, man. That wasn't that funny. That's too true. That was too close to home.
That was.
Now, the FBI investigation. The FBI's code name for this case was NORJAC. Northwest Hijacking.
Boy, those FBI
dude,
guys.
Yeah, I know. Paperclip was taken, fucking...
Old Hoover, he was a crafty one.
DB, Operation Dumbo Drop.
There you go.
They could have just fucking... That's the second time Operation Dumbo Drop's been mentioned on this podcast.
Wasn't that...
That was the Crazy Laws one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I went off on a fucking tangent on that one. It remained one of the longest-running investigations in FBI history until it was closed in 2016.
In other words, they gave up.
Yes. Despite numerous leads, no concrete evidence emerged to definitively identify Cooper or determine what happened to him, and the FBI stated that they would still accept credible leads but have suspended active investigation. That's fair.
That's, yeah, it's... It'll never be solved at this point.
And now we'll touch on some cultural impact for anybody who's been living under a fucking rock. He became a folk hero of sorts, with many admitting the daring and mysterious nature of or admiring the daring and mysterious nature of the crime, and pop culture references abound, including in movies, TV shows, books, and music, such as Without a Paddle, starring Seth Green
And
Dax Shepard and Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
Good movie. I thought that movie was funny as fuck.
It was better than I thought it was going to
When the bear was standing there and he's taking his shoes off, he was like, "Why are you taking your shoes off, Jerry?" He's like, "'Cause I run faster without them." He said, "You're not going to outrun that bear, Jerry." He said, "I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you." That was one of the funniest fucking television or movie moments ever. Dude, I cracked the fuck up when I watched that shit. He said, "You boys going up to the rapids?" He said, "Yeah, we think we're going to give it a shot." He said, "There's some pretty extreme waters up there, some category 4s. He said, "Well, I think we'll be all right." Tom was you were in the Boy Scouts, right? He was like, "No, I ate a brownie once." Fucking good movie. Dax Shepard also has a good podcast, that Armchair Expert.
I've listened to it every night.
Yeah, I don't listen to it regularly, but I enjoy him every once in a while.
It depends on the guest. If he's got an interesting guest,
Yeah.
I'll listen to it.
Now, D.B. Cooper became I already read that part. Every year, the small town of Ariel, Washington, which we talked about briefly earlier, near the suspected jump zone, holds a Cooper Day celebration in honor of the legend. Yeah. Now, despite decades of investigation, the true identity and fate of D.B. Cooper remain one of the most enduring mysteries in American history, and the case continues to intrigue amateur sleuths and professionals alike. And new theories still emerge from time to time, and the allure of Cooper's daring heist and the unsolved nature of the case ensures its place in popular culture.
Nice. And dumbass podcasters talking
We're
about
not done yet.
this. Holy fuck.
I've still got...
How the... Jesus Christ.
Don't worry, the rest is kind of fly through.
For the Lord of God.
Let's get it
page 7 of 17. And we're in the conclusion.
You'll see, the last 3 are pretty flyby theories.
Wake me up when you're done.
Before you go. Now, one theory is that he survived the jump. Escaped with the ransom, blah, blah, blah. Due to his parachute expertise, although Cooper didn't request a steerable parachute, his calm demeanor and knowledge of aviation indicated that he might have had prior experience with parachuting, potentially from military training or as a skydiving enthusiast, and some believe he deliberately chose the basic parachute to appear less knowledgeable. Yeah, his instructions to fly at a low altitude and specific airspeed suggested a thorough understanding of the aircraft, leading some to believe he had planned an escape route, and he might have arranged an accomplice to pick him up after he landed or stashed supplies beforehand. You would think so.
That would be smart.
Another theory is that he died during or shortly after the jump because of harsh conditions, such as the weather being extremely poor with high winds, freezing temperatures, and heavy rain. Jumping at night in these conditions, especially without specialized equipment, would have been extremely dangerous. He likely landed in the dense wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, a remote and rugged area that would have been difficult to navigate even in daylight. If he survived the jump, he may have succumbed to exposure or injuries, which we said earlier. There was no money found other than the $5,800. So this just kind of said, their whole support of that, or the whole thing that they used for that is if they only found the $5,800, it's because he didn't fucking survive to spend the rest of it.
But where's the other 100 and some odd thousand?
Right? He was an experienced... one theory is that he was an experienced military paratrooper. I'm not even going to go too far into that. I have stuff on it, but there's nothing...
Well, we can say
he was a former military paratrooper, but I feel like how good of a parachuter or a paratrooper can you be to successfully pull this off with an unsteerable parachute?
Just let it go.
You just end up somewhere.
Right.
You have no control over that.
Enjoy the ride down.
So yeah, you might be better off than other people, but you're not going to be in control of the situation.
No.
Not to the point that you might be able to land. You might have a fucking 5-mile radius that you're going to land in, but what the fuck good does that do you at the end of the day?
hung up in if he this lends credibility to the accomplice. He had somebody on the ground waiting to. Odds are he got hung up in a tree, which never was seen. The parachute was never found in a tree, so who knows?
Right. Now, the money being found, there's two theories behind that. Was the money was planted, or it just naturally ended up there due to water movement, shit like that. I would have to posit that the second option is more realistic to me. Mm-hmm. So that's about all I got to say about that. You like this one? This is literally what it said as one of the theories. D.B. Cooper was a Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah. Some theorists have speculated D.B. Cooper might have been Canadian based on the alias Dan Cooper. In the 1950s and 60s, a comic book character named Dan Cooper, a Royal Canadian Air Force pilot, was popular in Europe and Canada. And the hijacker's use of this name might suggest he was familiar with the comic, which was relatively unknown in the U.S.
Huh.
Yeah.
Them damn Canadians.
This theory suggests that Cooper may have returned to Canada after the hijacking, escaping detection in the U.S. However, no concrete evidence supports this idea beyond the name itself, and no credible Canadian suspects have emerged.
Well, that's just as plausible as some of the other shit we got going on here.
Yeah. There's a theory that he was a master criminal who planned this heist as a one-time event, but was he? Again, like, how much fucking... There you go. Like, according to the theory, Cooper intentionally disappeared after the heist, possibly living off the grid or in another country with his ill-gotten gains.
Here's the thing.
The fuck good is that going to do him at that point?
I got an idea of what happened. Because the parachute was never found.
You ready?
Let me tell you mine before you get to that one.
This is where
when the plane
we're gonna have
landed
fun.
and he let some of them off. Remember the note he gave to the steward person, the female.
Yeah, the lady, madam.
She was in on it, and he got off the plane with the rest of them.
Oh, very potentially.
I think that makes more sense because I really think
Catch me if you can style.
Right. He snuck off with the people he let off.
Yeah.
And everything else was
And they just threw a fucking parachute out.
Right. Or didn't.
There's no cameras.
Oh yeah, they would have had to, yeah.
The the flight attendant probably just chucked that bitch out with part of the money.
Right.
And where it falls. Who gives a fuck?
I think that's just as possible. Anyway,
now,
get back.
Here's another theory.
Get to this bullshit.
He escaped through time.
Oh my lord.
One version is time travel, suggesting that Cooper was a time traveler who jumped out of the plane and disappeared into another time period. This would explain why no trace of him, other than the found money, was ever discovered, and according to this idea, Cooper had the knowledge and technology to manipulate time, allowing him to evade capture by simply transporting himself out of the timeline after the heist.
Or maybe when he jumped, is like the Bermuda Triangle. He flew into a vortex.
Ooh.
He just hasn't landed yet. Maybe tomorrow he'll land.
Yes. Now, this posits that he was a time traveler from the future, in which Cooper is thought to be, like I said, a time traveler from the future who went back to 1971 specifically to carry out the hijacking. And this theory goes that he may have chosen this point in history because it was a time when airplane security was relatively lax and he had access to technology and knowledge that allowed him to orchestrate the crime perfectly. Perhaps he knew the exact flight conditions and had foreknowledge of how to jump out of the plane without being detected, and after the heist he could have used his time travel technology to return to his own time period or another. My big problem with that is if I'm from the future, fuck you, I want more than $200,000. Yeah. That shit won't even buy me a motherfucking house.
I got better. I know what happened. Where did this take place?
Washington.
He landed. And Bigfoot grabbed him and scraped him. Oh, shit.
Or he was a government time travel experiment gone wrong.
The Philadelphia experiment in Washington.
He may have been speculated to have been part of a secret government experiment involving time travel, and this theory posits that Cooper was either an agent or a test subject who hijacked the plane as a part of a covert mission, or perhaps the hijacking itself was a byproduct of an experiment gone wrong.
The Montauk Project West.
The government may have tried to cover up the operation, which explains why Cooper was never caught and why many details of the case remain unsolved. He could have time jumped out of the plane or used some experimental technology that allowed him to evade capture. Now we're getting into the fucking truth. Alternate timeline theory. D.B. Cooper may have jumped into an alternate timeline after parachuting out of the plane.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay.
You really don't need the rest of that paragraph, really.
Did you see a map of the landing zone?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder, how close were they to the ocean? Is it pretty far piece?
Yeah, I mean,
do you think maybe
far enough that I don't think it would have really...
the wind... No, I see the jet stream runs the other way, so no, I was just thinking if just got caught up... He was too low for the jet. Never mind. I was going to say, maybe...
Not close enough that I think it would have really been plausible.
Okay. Just asking. Okay.
His knowledge of the future. Some theorists suggest that if Cooper was a time traveler, he may have had knowledge of future events, allowing him to plan the perfect crime. I mean, it basically just... It's all just rolling into... He was a fucking...
Maybe it was John Teeter.
Oh.
Was D.B. Cooper.
Oh. Or fucking David Rodriguez.
Yes, maybe.
Ah.
Maybe he's on the moon base right now.
Now, in TV shows and movies, various fictionalized versions of D.B. Cooper's story have appeared in movies, TV shows, and comics where the time travel angle is explored. For example, in the show Loki on Disney Plus, there's a fun twist where the character Loki is revealed to be D.B. Cooper, who disappears after the hijacking due to his ability to manipulate space and time.
Makes sense.
Some authors have used D.B. Cooper's story as a springboard for exploring time travel or alternate realities, weaving his mysterious disappearance into broader science fiction narratives.
Maybe he was Tony Stark.
You ready for this? The theory that
God,
D.B.
for the
Cooper
love of God.
was abducted by aliens or somehow connected to extraterrestrial beings is another speculative and imaginative interpretation of the hijack.
Go fuck yourselves.
One version of the theory suggests that D.B. Cooper was abducted by aliens after jumping out of the airplane.
Tractor beam mid-flight.
According to this idea, Cooper's mysterious disappearance could be explained by extraterrestrial intervention. Either the aliens were watching him and decided to take him aboard their spacecraft, or his leap out of the plane somehow triggered an abduction.
We probe you and take your $200,000.
Evidence for the theory? Yes, please. Proponents of the alien abduction theory might point to the fact that no remains, parachute, or large amount of money were found in the evidence of something extraordinary happening to Cooper. His ability to seemingly vanish without a trace could be seen as consistent with common alien abduction stories. I'm not even going to read that. It's considered entirely speculative. No shit. It's fucking fun to talk about.
Captain fucking Obvious.
Wait, you ready for the next one? Cooper himself was an alien.
Of course he was.
D.B. Cooper himself was an alien or a being with advanced knowledge. Some have suggested that his calm demeanor through thorough planning and ability to pull off such a daring heist could indicate that Cooper was not an ordinary human, but an extraterrestrial being with super intelligence or technology.
Or he was an X-Men.
Yes.
Or he was a Mothman and could fly. Didn't need the parachute.
Yes. Then they tie in... wait, hold on. The idea suggests that Cooper might have used alien technology to either disappear after the hijacking or survive the jump in a way that was beyond human capability. He could have had access to advanced tools that allowed him to evade detection by authorities or help him navigate the wilderness, such as a human disguise.
He was a reptilian.
He might have been an alien in disguise, using the heist as part of some larger extraterrestrial mission. Through what that mission could have been remains pure speculation. Though
I think the correct term is pure bullshit.
Now, and then there's the UFO sightings around that time, which there was a considerable kind of concentration of UFO sightings in that time period, in that geographic area. So, I mean, true, probably not. Understandable why some people would come up with that thought process, 100%.
His loony bin.
His demeanor and knowledge, don't care. Pop culture, D.B. Cooper case, blah, 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 that has been speculated. Why people entertain these theories.
They're bored.
One reason the alien theory persists is the sheer lack of evidence of the D.B. Cooper case. Aliens. And then the fascination with UFOs and the aliens in the 1970s because of shit like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's far-fetched as fuck, but it makes sense.
I think it's more likely that he floated off the edge of the flat Earth.
Okay, now shut your mouth and your eyes and open your ears.
Oh, here we go.
The theory that D.B. Cooper was connected to Bigfoot is another fun and speculative idea, blending two of the Pacific Northwest's most famous mysteries: the unsolved 1971 hijacking by D.B. Cooper and the legend of Bigfoot, the elusive ape-like creature said to roam the forests of the region. While there's no evidence to support this connection,
no, really,
it has become a popular topic in conspiracy theories and pop culture.
By the mentally challenged?
The first one, D.B. Cooper transformed into Bigfoot.
No. We're not talking about this.
D.B. Cooper somehow became Bigfoot, whether through a mysterious transformation, alien intervention, or some paranormal event. This theory plays on the idea that after the hijacking, Cooper disappeared into the dense forests of Washington and Oregon, never to be seen again. Since the wilderness is often associated with Bigfoot sightings, some have joked or speculated that Cooper didn't just vanish, but became Bigfoot.
I think what they really meant to say is Bigfoot grabbed him as he came down, made him his bitch.
Possibly. Now, a supernatural explanation of this suggests that perhaps Cooper encountered something supernatural in the forest that led to his transformation into the legendary creature. Now, while clearly far-fetched, it merges two folklore elements in a way that appeals to fans of paranormal and conspiracy theories. That it does. I'm pretty sure there's a movie. It's like D.B. Cooper versus Bigfoot or some shit like that.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I'm not. I'm pretty sure it's a real thing, and I'm gonna watch it. Bigfoot helped Cooper escape.
That was his accessory.
Yeah, there's that's another option.
Excuse my yawning about Bigfoot.
D.B. Cooper was Bigfoot. This one and the next one, I think, have the most credence potentially.
I don't say was, but the next one, number 4, I can deal with.
Now, according to this version, the man who hijacked the plane may have been a highly intelligent and well-disguised Bigfoot. After the heist, Cooper
was the motherfucker 7 foot tall? Was that in the fucking description?
Did he have size 38 feet?
The
height and
was
appearance.
a little hairy.
While descriptions of D.B. Cooper don't match those of a towering Bigfoot, some proponents of this theory jokingly suggest that Cooper might have been concealing his true form during the hijacking, using a disguise to appear human.
What kind of fucking disguise?
I went the other way with this thought. I went the direction of he is a human, and then after that, a lot of those Pacific Northwest sightings were him being smart enough to play on the folklore of the area to disguise himself while he's moving about through the forest. And he's like living off the land. The next one?
The number 4?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about, right?
No, I'm talking about this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about like this backwards.
Okay, continue.
You know what I'm saying? Like he disguised himself as Bigfoot while living off the land to just knowing that people are going to be like, that's fucking horse shit. Yeah, you got it on video, but that doesn't make it Bigfoot.
Yeah, okay, go to
the next one.
I think that
is
you got me here.
Cooper survived and became a wild man, suggesting that instead of going back to civilization, he became a wild man or a hermit living deep in the forests of the Pacific Northwest. And over time, he may have grown increasingly wild in appearance, leading to mistaken sightings of him as Bigfoot. People in the region might have seen Cooper's rugged, weathered figure and assumed they were seeing the legendary creature. The forests where Cooper is believed to have landed are incredibly remote, dense, and difficult to navigate, and it's not inconceivable that if Cooper survived, he could have lived undetected for some time, perhaps scavenging or hiding in the wilderness, and over time his appearance could have matched descriptions of Bigfoot: tall, hairy, and elusive.
Well, if you think about this, to survive, he would have had to kill an animal, get fur, Bigfoot. I think
Like he did in Without a Paddle.
What is that group of people? Was it not in West Virginia, but in Appalachia somewhere?
Oh, they're all over the place.
But the wild people,
yeah,
who have evolved. I don't know if evolved's the right word, but they have gotten.
You talking about the blue kids from Kentucky?
Is that what it is? Yeah, they kind of got some weird features.
There's also some green kids from Wales or England back in like the 1100s.
So that I mean, when people go feral.
I mean, I fully believe that there's 100% feral people out there in the mountains and shit. And they'll tell you that if you go to like the right parts of Appalachia and shit, they'll tell you like, stay on the fucking road. You're fine on the road. Don't go into the woods after dark.
Yeah, I mean,
like there's rules to Appalachia. Like you close your windows if you live in the sticks in Appalachia and shit like that at night, because you don't want to see what might come fucking peeping in your windows just out of curiosity and shit like that. I mean, or if you hear something, just close the fucking door, stay inside.
I mean, this is more plausible than your fucking aliens abducting them fucking mid-flight.
Well, and then this next one is basically what I was positing, is that the government agencies or even local authorities intentionally encouraged Bigfoot sightings to divert attention away from the real mystery of Cooper's disappearance.
Their inability to catch a fucker?
Yes. Now, the theory suggests that as efforts were conducted in the forest, reports of Bigfoot served as a distraction, causing people to focus on the legendary creature rather than continuing the manhunt for Cooper, which is kind of what I was saying, is that Cooper was Bigfoot in that he was just like, well, fuck it, you dumb shits already believe in this shit anyway. I'm just going to wear a fucking bear rug and go gather my potatoes that I got fucking growing in the ground over here, and you're going to go, Bigfoot! Not knowing that it's fucking me. Why people entertain the Bigfoot connection? It's fun. I seriously doubt anybody thinks that it's legitimately serious.
I guarantee you there are some people.
Oh, there probably are, but they're all crackpots. Let's be real. Like I've said many times I would not have a heart attack if I found out Bigfoot was real, but I don't think he has anything to do with fucking DB Cooper. And if he does, it's DB Cooper was portraying himself as Bigfoot to get away with moving around.
Maybe.
Which is not paranormal or zoologically incredible in any way, shape, or form.
I think he was wearing a skinny suit. It was Bigfoot.
It was. I think it was Bigfoot. I think it was Bigfoot, and he had help from aliens.
And he walked on his knees.
Yeah. He did the opposite of the Little Rascals.
Yeah.
Another one is Cooper was an ex-CIA or military operative. He was a military guy.
Oh, there's no doubt he was a military guy.
Yeah. But some versions of this theory suggest that Cooper may have been involved in Black Ops missions during the Vietnam War or Cold War operations, and this was either a personal mission, a test, or even a distraction orchestrated by intelligence agencies.
Maybe it was drug money for the CIA to buy their cocaine.
I mean, given the events of the last 50 years, I don't find that to be horrifically outlandish of a thought. Also a government cover-up. Another theory is that the U.S. government was involved in a cover-up of the hijacking, either because Cooper was working for them or because the government had some knowledge of his identity but chose to conceal it for national security reasons. This theory speculates that Cooper may have had sensitive information or connections that made it difficult for the FBI or other agencies to pursue him openly.
I just cracked the fucking case.
What?
DB Cooper.
Is he still Bigfoot?
No.
Oh.
The government realized who he was. He killed Kennedy.
The fuck? Oh.
And they couldn't come. What?
The tapestry was moving.
Then that would have fucked Oswald.
Yeah.
He killed Kennedy.
No,
he was the lone guy. He was in the one in the grassy knoll.
Now, some of this was speculation was because of how the case was handled by the FBI, but as we all know,
We're saying the FBI fucked it up.
Law enforcement does not have the greatest track record with this shit.
Especially back in 1971.
Part of this theory is Cooper being an informant or an operative, which we kind of already touched on, which, again, that's not that fucking crazy, which then leads into the next one of the hijacking being a CIA or FBI operation. Possibly being a test run to test how well law enforcement and airlines could respond to hijacking scenarios.
Not very well.
No, but I think that is, as far as a government conspiracy aspect, that's one of the more plausible ones in my mind.
It was a test. It was a test.
Yeah, I could 100% see that being the case.
They were testing the FBI to see how well.
And local law, and just in general,
Right.
just across the board. I could 100%.
Like
I
that.
would not be shocked at all if they came out with paperwork that said, like, 100% that was the scenario.
It was Joe Blow. He did it. We paid him to do it. We wanted to see. If
It was
he could
Mrs.
get caught.
Peacock in the library with the candlestick.
Or it could have been just a false, or kind of like that war game during 9/11. That just happened to be on the exact same fucking day.
Or the other version of that is it could have been a diversion to distract from another major event or covert operation.
They had to take Bigfoot to the hospital.
Mount St. Helens.
They had to save the fucking big feet.
We've spoken on that
The
one.
big feet.
Cooper was part of a government conspiracy that all kind of wraps a lot of that just wraps into what we've already talked about. He was a government experiment, i.e., a psychological test in which some theorists speculate that the hijacking was a psychological test either on Cooper himself or on the public to observe how people would react in such a scenario, and if Cooper was an unwilling participant, he may have been, quote, programmed by the government scientists and sent on this mission only to be extracted later.
Dr. Jolly West.
Sure.
The CIA doctor that brainwashed
Everyone? All of us?
from the book Chaos about Trump Manson.
Yeah, I've never read it,
But Dr. Jolly West was MK Ultra. And he was the one who talked to Jack Ruby right before he went fucking crazy. And they were working on getting the Manchurian candidate.
we're figuring this out. We're solving this.
That's right.
And also,
Bigfoot, alien, and CIA.
there's part of this that posits that Cooper was a part of a military or intelligence experiment to test human survival.
What about if this was the airline doing a test? And he fucking died.
And they just didn't want people to know about
And
it.
so they kind of covered it up.
Yeah, that could be a thing. Government knew his identity but didn't publicize it. I think that's suggesting revealing his identity would have exposed classified information that they didn't want made public, and this could explain why the case was ultimately closed without any conclusive answers. Or for the protection of national security, if he was involved in top secret operations, revealing his true identity might have compromised national security or intelligence efforts, leading the government to maintain secrecy around the case.
I don't know. The government never lies to us.
Right. But
Never.
I would not be shocked if any of the government shit was any aspect, one or two aspects of the government part of this that we talked about came to be true. Bigfoot was 100% involved, and I'm 50-50 on aliens.
I think what happened
I'm about
was
25% on him being a time traveler.
during the jump, aliens picked him up
Time traveled him,
to Bigfoot's home.
yes,
And they had a big menage a trois.
where he was reunited with his Bigfoot wife,
It was like a Diddy party.
and he removed his Scooby-Doo mask to reveal that he was also a Bigfoot.
Yes.
He was just a pygmy Bigfoot. He was just a foot.
He was the little person Bigfoot.
Yeah, like he just went to hang out with Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah. I'm sure the Bigfoot species does have the
They can't all be tall as fuck.
I'm sure they got the.
They have. I'm
little
sure they have to
person
have
version.
Caucasian Bigfoots.
The little person version of Bigfoot. You know, 2 little Bigfoots get together and have a.
Yeah, you got Gigantopithecus and you got small Gantopithecus.
You know, big Bigfoot has a kid, and they said, "Oh fuck, he's a little one."
There's no way that's mine. So
You went back into the Margaret. You went into the village, didn't you? You fucked a human.
He said, I got a vasectomy and it didn't work. They just come out short now.
All right, are we done?
Yeah.
I mean,
D.B. Cooper was Bigfoot.
and he was
You heard it here first,
probed by
folks.
fucking aliens.
Ow, and my knee hurts.
I don't know what to go from, but I do think
Took a left real quick, didn't it?
I do think that is very possible that
He was Bigfoot.
is a test,
Oh, I think the
Either
government
or.
involvement is the most plausible.
or even the something. It was the airline test. Something went wrong. He died, and so they just covered it up.
Yeah, there you go. Better way of saying it. And, it being some type of inside job is the most plausible
Or
to me.
like I said,
Or it was
before,
just a shit show and he'd fucking died.
or he got the stewardess involved in it, and he got off the plane.
Yeah, and he just had a really good money launderer ready to go. I don't know.
Or maybe he didn't want. It wasn't about the money. He just wanted to see if he could do it.
Yeah, I equally as plausible. I think.
I
Or
mean,
maybe he fucking crashed and he was hurt and everybody's like, no, none of the money was ever spent, but some of it was found. Yeah, maybe he lost some in flight and then the rest of it never showed up because he used it to start fucking fires while he slowly died in the wilderness.
But I did see. I watched something one time a year or two ago about. There was one theory that he made it to Las Vegas, and he laundered the money at the
Through the mob?
through the casinos. But I would think the numbers would still pop
Eventually.
in the casino.
At least here and there.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Viva Las Vegas.
All right.
Viva Las Vegas.
I think that's going to wrap up this episode of the GITM podcast.
Thanks for listening to us talk about Bigfoot Cooper,
I mean,
a.k.a. E.T. Cooper, a.k.a. Time Traveler Cooper.
leave it to us for shit to get weird.
You weren't ready for that left turn, were you?
No, I was not ready for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting a little tired, and then you brought up fucking time traveling alien Bigfoot.
That is exactly
Bigfoot.
why I set it up exactly the way I did.
I perked right up. I got a little erect.
I was like, let's talk about the reality of the story, and then let's throw in fucking Bigfoot.
I
right
want
there.
to see that. I want to see that documentary.
This is D.B. Cooper.
I want to see fucking Discovery Channel cover that,
I'm sure it's been mentioned.
or Josh Gates cover that.
I'm sure it's been mentioned. I'm sure D.B. Cooper's been mentioned in a Bigfoot documentary or vice versa.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe not
I've
on Discovery Channel.
I've never seen it.
I'm going to find it. I'm also going to watch D.B. Cooper versus Bigfoot.
But isn't there? No, that's the Alaskan Triangle. I don't think it goes all the way down to Washington.
Could. Now it does.
It might do it now.
Hey, with these fucking theories, we can make any theory we want. I'm taking control of this. I'm putting this under my umbrella. I am now in charge of all D.B. Cooper fucking conspiracies.
I think it's possible he went to a vortex and he's going to be like that plane that landed 30 years later.
Oh.
And he just hasn't landed yet.
The Malaysian flight?
Yeah, or whatever. I think maybe next week he'll land.
That'd be interesting. That's what I'm waiting for. What happens when some 98-year-old dude just like, it was fucking me, and then has all the evidence and still has all the money? He's like, suck it, and just dies.
Bitches.
He just dies, and then they're like, oh, we better call the coroner. And then out of nowhere, fucking an alien comes running by, riding on the back of Bigfoot, and he scoops him up, and he's just like, fuckers! And they just run away. And they just like fucking, he just runs up a rainbow bridge onto a UFO that just time warps out of everywhere. And all of and then the government's like, he's a good man. And like everything that we've talked about was true. Every fucking theory they're all fucking true.
I think it's very plausible. All right.
And then there's a ghost involved somehow. The Loch Ness Monster comes. The Loch Ness Monster fucking ate him.
You know what? Zach Baggins will find his ghost if he died.
I'm here to talk to the ghost of D.B. Cooper.
Where
did you drop the money? Do you not like it when I talk about you dropping the money? Why don't you do something? Why don't you do something into this shining light right here? And at this moment, we caught an incredible piece of evidence. An orb left the back of my head in a completely random pattern that could not be dust whatsoever. And then Aaron had diarrhea. There you go. I just saved you a whole half a season of Ghost Adventures.
All right. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for those of you who stuck around for this colossal, great episode. Maybe an all-time great. I mean,
it's a fun one.
I
enjoyed it.
Unlike our sex lives, we finished strong on this one. I mean, we started off a little rough, but by God, we got a rhythm, and at the end...
It got a little weird.
It got weird, and there was some hair pulling, Bigfoot talking.
It smells like Bigfoot's dick.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We kind of like you guys. We will see you next week for another episode. I don't know what we're going to do, but we will make sure it will not include Bigfoot.
When we know, you'll know, because it'll be the day that we go live.
I mean, we might have to retire after this. I don't know if we can top fucking time-traveling alien Bigfoot DB Cooper.
Oh, he's getting impatient in there.
All right, we got to go because the big dog's getting pissy.
Okay.
See ya.
Good night.